Miss what we have coming up at 3:30. We've got an NBA guest coming up at 3:30.
Yes.
You're not going to want to miss that.
Have an NBA guest, yes.
Coming up at 3:30.
Yep.
If you missed it last night, there was an NBA game. And we're going to get into that over the course of the show. But we will have an NBA guest for you at 3:30, and we are talking World Cup soccer in the 4 o'clock hour as well. A lot, we typically, Alan, how many shows have we done together?
We have done.
I want the exact number.
Yeah, it's been 33 right now.
Is it? It's probably in that neighborhood.
It's probably close to 33.
It's probably 35, whatever. We have probably.
You've missed a lot of time since we started doing this show.
I'm going to miss another couple of days in July that we've talked about. That's a whole other story.
Maybe missing the same ones. We're still figuring that out.
Still have to figure that out. We got to figure that out. But in, let's say, the 30 or 40 shows we've done together, we've started the show in the Padres baseball season here in San Diego, talking Padres.
Yeah.
Right, by and large. Because I think it's
basically every show.
It's what our listeners want us to talk about. We're in season. Today, we need to start with what played out last night at the Garden between the Knicks and the Spurs. We just have to do that. By the way, there was a really interesting comment from Manny Machado to Kevin Acey that we'll get into probably in 15 minutes. But last night, dude, I mean, you and I have watched so much of this postseason that's playing out.
What the hell happened last night?
I mean, we've all watched a lot of sports. You had a great point there in the crossover. Like,
which one?
Just across sports. No, like, how epic of a collapse is it? How often do you see such a collapse of that nature in any sport?
I'm going to give you a quick example here. There was a couple times during the broadcast where they mentioned I'm just trying to think here off the top of my head. I think they had said something to the effect that the only other blown lead was 24 by the Lakers in 2008. That's the Celtics, highest playoff, whatever. You know why I know that vividly? I know that because
you watched the game.
No, I did watch the game. I had tickets to Game 5 in LA. It was the first NBA Finals game I was ever going to go to. I had bought tickets to go to the game with a cousin of mine. I'm watching the Lakers go up 24. They're down 2-1 in the series. They're going to tie this thing to a piece. I'm going to be at Game 5. They lost that game. The 24, they ended up losing. That's whatever the case is. And they mentioned that so many different times during the broadcast. I was listening a little bit on radio, listen a little bit on TV. Brother, that was you can't collapse like that. I really actually think this. I think that game will be remembered yesterday as one of those. Hey, do you remember when the Patriots came back against the Falcons down 28-3? I know that's different because it's one game, but that's as colossal of a collapse that you can possibly have in sports.
What if I took it further? This isn't. What I'm saying is not. I don't honestly believe this, but if someone told me De'Aaron Fox was like in on the take, I would believe it, because I watched the mashup of the second half miscues by Fox, and you saw the same thing.
De'Aaron,
it was brilliantly done. I mean, Alan, this is the NBA. This isn't high school or college. This is the NBA. De'Aaron Fox had a great first half.
He's a vet.
He's a veteran. I mean, there were 8 or 10 plays he made that if any of them didn't go the way they went, the Spurs probably win the game. He's not the only culprit, but he's such a clear-cut culprit in this saga. It's like, how do you recover from that?
Okay.
How do you bounce back from that?
There are certain basics in sports. Like, I could tell you, like, all right, here's what you do when there's a ground ball and there's a player, and there's a man on or something. Just like, I'm going through the basics. Here's what you do if it's in a goal line situation, or no, your clock management in the NFL.
That all out the window.
Clock management in the NFL. Like, there's just some of the most basic things that come with sports, and you don't have to be somebody that really, truly, truly understands the details of a game. I don't know a world where De'Aaron Fox, where there's another NBA player that decides, I'm going to go get a layup when all I need to do is actually run some clock and wait for them to foul me. There's so many advantages to him trying to run the clock, get fouled, go to the free throw line, make your substitutions, talk to your coach, all that stuff. And this guy decided in a live play, up 1 with the shot clock being out, I'm going to try. It's almost like how many times has it happened in the NFL where you got a dude running to the end zone and he drops the ball before he gets to the,
Or sometimes the NFL, it's like yo, dude, just kneel
Don't go
at
out
the
of
one.
bounds.
Yeah, don't go out of bounds or don't score and give the ball back to your opponent. The game was basically over or closer to over, and then it wasn't.
Well, Micah Parsons said on X that it was like getting the game-winning interception and then fumbling, which I said on Sammy's show means
Yeah, well,
De'Aaron
that's
Fox
happened.
is Marlon McCree.
Yeah, I was going to say that's happened here. All right, well, let's go here
I
with it for
love
a
that
second.
you both know about that Marlon McCree play.
Because
I've been here long
how
enough
could you
for
not?
that.
But I understand that. But I love it just because, like, that is one of the most idiotic moments in San Diego sports history. I was at that game when
Were
he was
you?
like, I'm running it back. I mean, his post-game interview, I was like, Marlon, you're not helping yourself here. You're not helping yourself here. That's
Well,
a
if
great
you remember
equivalent.
that, then people are going to remember obviously this.
Yeah.
Here's the talk back for the first hour since we're talking about this. If you want tickets to see Dave Chappelle,
Ooh.
June 21st,
Ooh.
open up the iHeart app right now and search for San Diego Sports 760 and hit the red talkback mic and tell us, do you see this as a epic comeback by the Knicks or an epic collapse by the Spurs? So tell us what you saw it as. Was it a collapse? Was it a comeback? Listen, the Knicks made plays, dude. The cat 3 with the shot clock, they needed everything to go right. A cat wing 3. The Anunoby tip-in, I've watched it 1,000 times. It's so
You
brilliant.
know how many things you had to have
Dude, he
go
went
your
high
way?
above the rim.
And it wasn't even, it was more, you're almost just trying to get your
Volleying
hand on it
Yes.
rather than this is a coordinated tip.
He wasn't 2 inches away from the rim. He was 1.5 feet, 2.5 feet away
Okay.
from the rim.
I got a couple more for you that happened.
Okay.
How about when they went up 7 with a couple minutes left to go? They get 2 buckets in a row and they got it down to 3. And Jose Alvarado hits a 3 over Wemby
Yeah,
or whoever
straight
it
on.
was.
Yep.
I'm like, Alvarado.
Yep.
How about the Victor Wembanyama choking 2 free throws away?
Yes. Yeah.
How about Mitch Johnson saying, hell no, I
No
will not
timeouts.
use any of my timeouts?
How about Alvarado walking into the front court, then to the back court, but avoiding a backcourt violation? I mean, they needed a series of 12 things to develop
But can I,
that all went the
do you,
Knicks'
do you know
way.
what that makes me think of? Let's put it this way.
What? That it's destined?
If the Padres are going to win a World Series, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
And this is very common in sports.
Okay.
But like certain stuff just go your way and you're saying to yourself, I think we actually have a shot at this. Like there are Knicks fans today saying that was not supposed to happen.
Oh, of course not.
And that's probably how we're going to win our NBA championship. And every sport that you watch and every championship run that you see, there's like small things that happen. You're like, is this just kind of fate? Like, is this just supposed to happen for the New York Knicks? Do you know the Spurs led in each one of these games by double digits?
Like 12 or more in all 4 of them.
Brother,
Yeah, I
they
agree
were
with
up 29 in an NBA basketball
In
game.
the second half and 20 in the fourth quarter. And I stick by what we both, I think, said yesterday, which is if whoever won that game was going to win the finals. And if the Spurs would have found a way to win that game,
I'm
I
with
would have
you.
had them as a clear favorite, even if it was a 1-point win.
I'm with you.
And now that the
I'm
Knicks
with
won,
you.
ask yourself the mental hurdle that it would take to overcome what just transpired at MSG. Do we want to hear from Mitch Johnson, the head coach of the Spurs?
Mitch, we got Charles Barkley, who was
Barkley.
very, very, very polite about what he saw yesterday. Let's do Mitch Johnson
Yeah,
first. I
let's
think
hear
Mitch Johnson.
from, I mean, Mitch Johnson, listen to him trying to explain away how this has played out through the first 4 games.
Territory for everybody in terms of what just happened. I just wonder, like, what are you drawing from what this team's been around the last couple of years to kind of get them back to an equilibrium where they can try to put this by the side and get ready for Game 5?
Yeah, I think, again, we have 2 days to put everything we have into that game. That's the only game that matters. And, you know, by no means am I not acknowledging the Knicks and what they've done and give them credit for playing good basketball, but we feel like we've decided the outcome of all 4 games, and we need to be better in the next game.
We've decided the outcome of all 4 games is a huge indictment on the head coach. That is huge. Huge, huge, huge.
I think he's right.
Huge.
I think he's right.
How do you
Here's what's not going to happen. Let me just kind of explain. Let's just say the series ends the way it does, and the San Antonio Spurs end up losing the series in 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Mitch Johnson's not going to go anywhere. Neither is De'Aaron Fox.
I know.
So, and I don't think that they can't learn from this and everything else, but they truly, genuinely had a shot to win an NBA championship this year in multiple games. Like they've had, we could sit here and look at yesterday's collapse. Was game 2 not just an absolute collapse as well? Wemby throws it off the back of Castle. Then he fouls Jalen Brunson.
Should have won the game.
I mean, the shot that he got towards the end of the game, Mitch Johnson got a lot of heat in that game as well. They were up double digits in the fourth quarter. That's a crazy one to watch.
Much more on last night. Mark Medina, who has spent a long time covering the NBA, will join us at 3:45. Again, what do you think it was? A collapse or a comeback for the ages? Hit us up on the Talkback mic. Open the iHeartRadio app. By doing that, you're eligible to win tickets to see Dave Chappelle here in San Diego on June 21st. Wait until you hear what Manny Machado had to say about himself. You'll hear it on the other side. Coming up next on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, America has turned in 250 and San Diego Sports 760 is celebrating with $250,000 in cash. Listen for your chance to win. $2,500 so you can take the ultimate American getaway. Visit the states, the cities, the landmarks, national parks that make our country amazing with your share of 250 grand. Just listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win is coming up after 5 p.m. on San Diego Sports 760. You got me more frustrated today than I was yesterday. You know, I was listening to the finals game. I don't even know why I'm this invested into it. I have no reason to be this invested. I want to see the Spurs win. Like I like what they're doing, how they put it together. I'm a fan of Wemby. I have kind of my reasons. Knicks fans annoy me. There's a world where it makes sense to me. The only thing that can happen to be a worse choke job than last night will be if the Knicks find a way to choke away a 3-1 series lead. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they end up winning it in New York in 6. So I do think Spurs kind of run this thing a little bit, but it's not like the Knicks have been perfect either.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're
like,
right. I mean, listen, this is only remembered if the Knicks win the NBA title. This is an afterthought, dude.
It's not an afterthought.
It's an afterthought.
But here's what it is. Can you remember in the same series, you had one team collapse up 29 and you had another team collapse up 3-1.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to there's other examples in sports where it's like a team wins an amazing like divisional playoff game in football. I always go back. There was an Eagles-Packers game where the Eagles had a 4th and 26 conversion, Freddie Mitchell. But then they lost the next week. So it's like you didn't win the Super Bowl as a result of this. This is one of the most improbable 4th and 26. The game's over and they move on. And they're like the Minnesota Miracle down the sidelines. Yeah. But then you lose. So it's like,
no, you know what it is?
It's remembered so much differently when you end up winning it all.
You know when people talk about like, hey, remember the year Warriors won 73 games? And then they instantly say, but they didn't win a championship.
Exactly.
Like it's kind of remembered in that light.
Completely.
So you could say, oh, the Knicks won this game by 29. People would be like, they lost that series in 7.
Somehow. That would be so Knicks, obviously, if that played out. Who said this, by the way? And hit us up on the talkback mic, by the way. If you want to win Dave Chappelle tickets, do you see it as a collapse or a comeback? Epic collapse, epic comeback last night. If you want Dave Chappelle tickets, open the app, search for 760, click the red talkback mic. Who said this? This is a direct quote. Just say I suck. You don't need to say, oh, this, and this. No, it's that my numbers suck. Manny Machado. He should have said it.
Was it Fox? It could have been Fox.
Manny Machado to Kevin Acee.
Okay.
Regarding all the theories that people have. Is it the hitting coaches you worked with in the offseason? Is it the fact that you're out of shape? Kevin acknowledged that yesterday with us.
Yeah.
Manny says no.
I don't want to hear anybody justify that, by the way.
And by the way, and Manny just says no. Forget about it all. Just say I suck. Kind of appreciate the honesty sometimes from Manny Machado. I'll rip into some of the things he says, but I respect saying something like that when you're hitting 170.
I respect it, but I'll tell you where my emotion's going towards that. I've seen Manny be very, and we've praised him for it. I've seen him be very honest about himself, honest about the team, how it all starts with him. And he's done it now a handful of times. And every time I've heard it, I've said, you know what? I like that one. Oh, yeah, you know what? That shows me some maturity and some leadership from Manny Machado putting on his shoulders.
Sure.
And then I kind of also have thought about it and been like, yeah, well, Manny really doesn't have any defense towards it. So what else is he supposed to do? Is he supposed to point the finger at somebody else? That obviously wouldn't be a good idea. By the time I hear it again with Acee, him saying I suck, do you know where I am on that? I know.
Right.
Like I've got to the point where you don't even now need to tell me that you suck. And frankly, I'm not sure how much I want to acknowledge that you're acknowledging that you suck. How about you just get better? How about you just start producing and this isn't a conversation for the rest of the regular season? How about that?
Right.
Because if it's not that, and in 3 weeks, we're going to be talking about him having the worst batting average in all of baseball, and he does another piece with somebody else or he's doing a post-game interview, and he's really honest once again that he's not doing well. Well, what does that do for the Padres? What does it do for the standings? What does it do for the wild card race? They clearly, if they're going to have any shot of making noise here, they need basically different people to come in within the organization. That like Manny Machado can't be the same person that he was over the first 2 months of the season. Neither can some of these other players.
I mean, listen to this. He goes on to say this to Kevin. I'm having a bad season. It is what it is. Listen to this. I didn't have a full spring training. Going back to the WBC.
Okay.
There's more to it than just one thing. It's just not hitting right. I'm hitting the ball hard right at people when I do hit it hard. And when I don't, it's something else. So it's a little bit of a lot of things. Interesting, he acknowledged he didn't have full spring training. Remember the last time the Padres struggled as a team was 2023. A lot of their players were out at the WBC. But he did acknowledge the fact that he didn't have a full spring training. But he also said, I won't make excuses.
Do we know what he did, how he started? It'd be great to figure out how in 2023, how he did in those first couple of months. Did it have an effect on him? By the way, if it did, then you could say, hey, that's interesting. Is that kind of tied to
that team could not hit
WBC?
Yeah, it's interesting. But I remember we talked about that a lot in 2020.
But does that make sense? Like the part of I'm okay to sympathize. I'm okay to give, hey, I like that he's admitting this. But I'm also at the stage of the season. It's like, I don't care anymore, man.
Yeah.
I don't care about the excuses.
Of course.
I don't care what happened. I don't care. All I care about is how are the Padres going to compete for a wild card spot? That's all I care. And one way they're going to do that or not do that, so much of that rides on Manny Machado.
By the way, 2023, I'm looking it up.
Okay.
On June 4th of 2023, he was hitting 222 with a 628 OPS. That was June 4th. He finished the year hitting 258 with a 782 OPS. So he played a lot better over the final 4 months of the year. He did hit 30 home runs and drove in 91 that year.
Let's hope that's a stretch that maybe, listen, that's the only thing that I could look at, and maybe there's a tie there.
Maybe. But again,
and maybe that's why he's mentioning it.
But also that he can say that, it's sometimes you think you're something that you're not anymore. He was 30 then. He's 33 now.
Sure.
He's dealt with more over the last 3 years. Like,
right about that.
Sometimes it's like you can't beat Father Time. And these athletes think they can. Of course. I mean, I think 40-year-olds like, I'm not like that other 40-something, or 50-year-olds. I'm not like that. But then your back hurts or you wake up. You know what I mean? Like, you can't overcome that element of sports, which I do think to some extent he has to be dealing with right now.
Father Time hasn't touched me.
You're a physical specimen, right?
You've seen some of these jumpers here.
I have.
Did you see a little bit earlier when you were in the middle of a point and I didn't want to get in your way? There was a gnat, like a hawk flying around here. Did you see that?
Yeah, but I just kept with the show.
All right. I'm going to find that thing.
Mark Medina.
I'm going to let it land on my hand. I'm going to walk it outside.
Mark Medina covers the NBA. He'll join us at 3:45. Warren Barton is on the call tonight, the second World Cup match of this tournament. Fox Soccer analyst. He'll join us at 4 p.m. Stay with us, Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by eBay. The Padres are in Baltimore getting set for their series tomorrow night against the Orioles. First pitch is going to be at 4:05. In NFL news, the Broncos have signed head coach Sean Payton to a new 5-year deal. Payton, who's 62, had 2 years remaining on his current contract. This new 5-year deal will replace that. In World Cup news, Mexico defeated South Africa 2-0. You can hear tomorrow's USA game right here on San Diego Sports 760 starting at 5:30. eBay is home to millions of finds, and each one becomes part of your story. From your favorite vintage band tee to the dream car you've been searching for, or that foul ball you heroically gave away. It's all there on eBay. eBay, things people love.
All right, if you want those Dave Chappelle tickets, this is how you can win. In fact, it's the only way you can win. Open up the iHeart app, search for San Diego Sports 760, click the talkback mic, and tell us if it was an epic collapse or epic comeback last night between the Knicks and the Spurs. That's the only way to win tickets to see Dave Chappelle. We're going to announce a winner in 30 minutes or less. So if you want those tickets, hit us up on the talkback.
There's only one right answer there, too.
There's only one right answer. You need to tell us on the talkback mic.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to get back to the Spurs and the Knicks in a moment, but I also want to tell you this real quick on the Padres. Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you. If I told you, like, do you read anything into this?
Okay.
Toddy's been playing a lot more second base, right? Over the last month of the year.
Cronenworth's been out.
He's been out.
They've been thin to begin with. Yep.
Exactly. If I couldn't believe this when I looked it up last night. If I told you Fernando Tatis Jr. was hitting 351 as a second baseman and 219 as a right fielder, would you believe that?
What's he hitting out of the pen?
Out of the bullpen? He's got a 2 ERA when he comes out of relief, but he's got a 7 ERA as a starter. It's a good point. It's a really good point.
Both of his home runs have come in on relief.
Yeah, exactly. So think about it. He's hit 351.
Yeah.
He's getting on base at a 419 clip.
Wow.
He's slugging 432. In right, he's hit 219. He's getting on base at a 290 clip. He's slugging 255. Is there anything to read into there? And the reason I bring it up is that what do you do when Jake Cronenworth comes back? I mean, certainly you're deferring to Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah.
As Cronenworth does he have a role? Is he not just a reserve when he comes back? It's not like it's a big topic, but I'm keeping Tatis, I think, at second based on the numbers.
Yeah, and here's the one thing you were losing in the past. If Tatis went to second and Cronenworth was out, are you putting Castellanos in right? Right? Or are you putting, like, you were shifting, you were making all these changes.
Tatis was at second.
And Laureano's injured now as well. So I think defensively, by them going with their youngsters, it's allowed them to keep Tatis at second, because I think defensively they're good now defensively.
Yeah,
because you went younger and you went more athletic, and you know, like there's defensively they're better than I think they were with some of the other options before, specifically when Castellanos was there. So I think to answer your question is, we have no idea when Cronenworth's coming back.
No idea.
So there's really no. I think that's not even a conversation. I think the conversation is more, hey, at least Tatis is feeling a certain way, and maybe that's happened because he's at second. But if it continues, and for how bad their offense is, if he's having that much more success by being at second, then you leave him at second. Isn't it kind of? Can I just simplify that?
I think so.
Tatis is such an important piece, and here he is now having the best part of his season over these last, whatever you want to call it, 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever the case is. Now it's not like, again, that he's hitting a ton of home runs, but I'm not moving Tatis from second if he's playing the way he is.
Here's the other thing, and then I want to get into what Shaq and Charles Barkley have to say about that collapse last night. The other thing is he's playing an awesome defensive second base. This guy's an incredible athlete. He picked up right field immediately, had never played it professionally. Yeah. He hadn't played second base professionally. The metrics bear out he's been a brilliant second baseman as well, in addition to the work he's done in right field. So
so you're not losing. It's not
anything.
like this huge drop off defensively or something like that. Yeah.
Let's hear from, there's nobody that can say it like Charles Barkley. In the history of this league. He says it so brilliantly and bluntly. And of course he had things to say, as did Shaq, about the Spurs collapse last night in Game 4. This was that group on Inside the NBA.
We saw the dumbest basketball team in the history of civilization. Oh, wow. We saw they had a 25-point lead, took eight straight threes. Like, they thought to get, like, that was some of the most mismanaged, stupid basketball. Hey, when you blow a 29-point lead, the other team has to help you. The San Antonio Spurs help if New York Knicks win this game by doing some of the stupid-ass stuff I've ever seen on a basketball court.
Congratulations to the Knicks for coming back, but Chuck, I agree with you. They played terrible basketball. They got comfortable. They got comfortable with the league. They was already talking about, going back to San Antonio. They just didn't play smart. And, you never know what a champion is until you become a champion. But tonight, the Knicks, they fought like a champion. They did. Listen.
That's interesting. But that last point Shaq made, because I think there's so much of the conversation is going to be made about the collapse of the San Antonio Spurs. But he did say something like, you never know when you're going to be a champion until you're a champion. If I told you in 2024, when the Padres are playing the Dodgers and they go up 2-1, and I know it's still so early, but the Dodgers are kind of the team that everybody's chasing, whether you want to call it that year or not. But I mean, look, Shohei's there, Yamamoto's there. Go down the list of all the great players that they have. And that you don't know you're a champion until you're a champion. Like that is that in your pedigree yet? Are you built for that? Is there like
Padres or Dodgers in that time? Are you saying?
I'm talking about the Padres. I think you learned when you lost that series that that team's not ready to be a champion,
which is such a darn shame. Even
it is because you were close.
Exactly.
It is because you actually had a legitimate
Didn't you feel
shot.
like they were? I mean, seriously, like, didn't you feel like they had the mettle of a team that was as good as any in real time?
Maybe I shouldn't be tying a Spurs Knicks series to that, but the reason why I think you walked away from yesterday saying the New York Knicks they're like built for, we can be a champion.
Yeah, definitely.
And you never really thought that of the Knicks. I didn't think of it to Knicks because they haven't accomplished it. If the Padres won, let's just say game 4, they didn't even give Dodgers a shot. They didn't even go back to game 5.
Yeah.
Or game 5, they won that game 3-2. You know what everyone around baseball would say? Hey, they can be World Series champions. Like that's like a huge mental moment for that franchise. Padres never tasted that. They never felt it. I thought what Shaq said about you never know when you could be a champion until you're a champion. I think they had that champion moment yesterday.
But there's two sides to that conversation real quick, because it's like, did Wemby and the Spurs get beat a little bit by beating the Thunder? It's like, did the 2022 Padres get beat by beating the Dodgers? As in, did you accomplish your goals then, therefore let your guard down later to prevent you from reaching the ultimate goal? We saw Wemby after game 7. It looked like they won the finals. If you told me in the annals of NBA history that was a championship, we would have bought it. We would have said he just won the championship if you saw the video.
And I didn't want to discredit his celebration, but one of the conversations was like, you didn't win the championship.
Right. Especially now that we see how this is playing out.
But I understand where he was coming from. He's like, I beat the Thunder. I'm going to the finals. I'm only 22. I've never been in the playoffs
MVP before. And I haven't, and I'm on the same floor as him, and we just beat the champs.
Yeah.
So we're the champs, but no, not so fast. And that's playing out in real time. And I do think, going back to 2022, now I think the 2024 Padres are better than 2022 Padres.
Oh, yeah.
I think the team.
I agree with you.
They didn't go as far.
No. I agree.
I think the team was a better team.
I agree with you on that.
But the 2022 team, you remember it because you were there. The 2022 team, it's kind of like you accomplish your goals by beating the Dodgers, but that wasn't the end goal. And maybe you had to learn it. But here we also are still searching.
Yeah, there's a process to that. If I had a mic back then in 2022, I would be trying so hard the next day saying, turn the page, guys.
Yeah.
It's over. You don't get a World Series for beating the Dodgers.
And that's not what people were saying in real
time. Put that thing to the side.
Yep.
What's your goal? Is your goal to beat them, or is your goal to win your first World Series championship in San Diego? You got Philly coming up. And I think if you're looking at the San Antonio Spurs, you beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, and there is a little bit of like, oh my gosh, we just did that. That's the defending champs, this, that. And the Knicks are like, we're all vets. We've been in this league for a while, and we may never get another shot at this thing.
Completely.
Yeah.
All right. If you want those Dave Chappelle tickets, a reminder, open up the iHeartRadio app and search for San Diego Sports 760. Click the red talkback mic and tell us if it was a collapse or a comeback last night in game 4 of the NBA Finals. By doing that, You are eligible to win a pair of tickets to see Dave Chappelle in San Diego on June 21st. We'll announce a winner in 15 minutes. Plus, we have new MLB power rankings from ESPN, and we'll share them with you on the other side.
Basically the Bible.
It
like
is.
If you don't look at the power rankings,
stay in your driveway. Do not go anywhere. This is Schaefer and Sliwa on San Diego Sports 760. Stay with us.
okay. All right, DraftKings Sports is live in all 50 states. Yes, that means you, California. The whole world is watching one tournament right now. Group stage chaos, knockout drama, stoppage time, heartbreak. Of course, the DraftKings Sports app is now live in California, so whether you're catching the early kickoff before work or the late match at the bar, you're in on every minute, every match, every moment, all in one app.
Right here in California, the world's biggest stage is in the palm of your hands. New DraftKings customers sign up with code SD760. Spend $5 to get $200 in total rewards. That's code SD760. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click-to-claim issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends June 28th. Terms, dkng.co/predictions promo. All right, San Diego Sports 760 wants you to see Five Finger Death Punch and Cody Jinks live, and you pick the city. We'll handle everything, me and Alan, including the gold merch VIP package. Just tap the contest tab when you're listening to us on the free iHeartRadio app to enter. Tickets at livenation.com. That was well read, Alan.
I mean, if I had to rank it,
Yeah.
because Brent and I, this is very important for us. We see some of your reads.
Yeah.
It's a solid C+.
C+.
Solid C+.
See, here's the thing. I don't know what to think. Here's the thing. The reads aren't always easy.
I could tell when you have nothing.
The reads aren't easy.
There's a longer
like a
delay.
pause.
There's a longer delay.
Because a lot of people think here, let me just hear me out for 1 second. A lot of people are like, oh, updates, like that's not hard to do an update, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a bit of a skill to the update. Or like reading copy, right? Like, hey,
Sure.
go see the whatever. But there's a little bit of a skill to it.
We got to get this gnat.
Is there a gnat in there?
Yes, there's in our studio. It's like
Is it CJ Abrams or
it's a
James Wood?
It's almost it's like almost a hawk compared to in the gnat world. It's a good size gnat. I don't know what it's doing.
Like the 2019,
what do you have with you? What
the
do you
2019 gnats? Like soda?
You have fruit you got
No, I have
grapes, strawberries in there?
No, but I would love some if you have any. And you typically have everything with you in your car.
We have a gnat in here.
All right, Warren Barton, who resides in San Diego and is an analyst for Fox Sports, will be on the call of the World Cup tonight. South Korea, Czech Republic tonight. He's going to join us coming up at 4 p.m. We'll get into Mexico's debut in the 2026 World Cup. What a performance by Team Mexico earlier today in Azteca in Mexico City, scoring early, scoring again, and winning 2-0 earlier today over South Africa. So Warren Barton will join us at 4 p.m.
Did you notice this today? I don't know if you were out and about, but I was kind of moving and shaking a little bit everywhere. Brother, everywhere I went, the game was on. That was awesome. Dude. That was great. I mean, I just loved, I think this is such a San Diego thing as well. Of course, you got a lot of proud Mexican Americans here in SoCal, specifically in San Diego. I just thought it was great. I don't know what to tell you. Like the environment of walking around and having that game on everywhere you went. I'm like, hell yeah, this is good.
I'm at the Point Loma Fish Shop, which is a terrific spot that I've been to a lot that we should go to. And on 4 televisions was the Mexican World Cup match.
Badass.
So yeah, I 100% agree with you. All right, you put in the weekly rankings, right? The ESPN,
the ESPN Power Rankings,
MLB rankings.
Yep.
And you asked me before the show, where do you think the Padres would be in those rankings? And I actually, I said a number that was higher than they're actually ranked.
You were way too optimistic.
I was too optimistic. You thought. I said 11th, that they would be 11th in the 30-team power rankings. When in fact, where do they rank?
Padres are 15th in the ESPN Power Rankings, which I think is the right place to put them. 35 and 32. I want to say they might be the only team above 500 record-wise and is below that number 15 spot because Toronto's behind them. You know, they had kind of an interesting stat in here. And you tell me if you believe, and there was kind of like a turning point in the Padres season over the last 30 days or so.
Yeah.
Now, look, this could also just be a coincidence. It could just be that the Padres really weren't that good and are not that good, and it was eventually going to catch up to them. But since they lost, they had that 3-game set against the Dodgers. Since Michael King beat Yoshinobu Yamamoto, they won that game 1-0.
Yep.
What's their record since that moment? They've played 21 games. 21 games.
Well,
What's
I know
their
there's
record?
a 4-12 in there. So that's 16 of them. So the other 5, I'll say they went 3-2 in. I say they are 7-14 over those 21 games.
On the dot. 7-14 over a 21-game stretch.
Not great. Hard to be higher than 15th, maybe.
So, and that's the, when you look at the standings too, and you start seeing, wait a minute, didn't they have such a cushion in the wild card for a quick second? Wait a minute, weren't they competing for the NL West for a hot second there? That's why all of a sudden you're 6-7 games back in the NL West. That's why all of a sudden you're in this mix here with some of these other teams. And look, they haven't been good enough to play to, like the 7-14 actually represents their play.
Yeah, exactly.
You can look at defensively how they base running errs, their batting average. They're
7-14. We've watched it. They've earned that.
The 7-14 record over that 21 game span is the proper way. They deserve 7-14.
Guess what? It could be a lot worse. Freddie Fermin hit a 2-run home run with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Yesterday, they
Dodgers.
trailed 4-2 in the 8th inning.
That's right.
So I'm just saying, there's two sides to that. Maybe there was a game they lost. They should have won. Maybe there's a game in there.
But you know what? I don't agree. It could have been a lot worse. Maybe it could have, but that doesn't give me any like, oh, well,
No,
I feel better.
I'm saying they're actually
You know what I
playing
mean?
worse maybe than 7-14.
I don't feel that much better.
If they were
about that.
6-15, I would buy it. If they were 5-16 over that stretch, I'd buy it.
It's going to be interesting, this 9-game road trip that they go on. And if you told me right now, hey, would you take 5-4, brother? I take it in a heartbeat.
I'll sign that
in a
contract.
heartbeat. I take 5-4.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to continue finding out more and more about this team. Are they going to be the squad by the time, because they go through a stretch here when they get back home to San Diego, Atlanta,
LA.
Dodgers, Cubs, Dodgers
on the
again,
road,
Arizona
Toronto
for
on the
4,
road.
Toronto.
Yeah.
I mean, these next 9 games are going to tell you at least one thing. Did you calm the water a little bit
With the Red Series win?
Did you these next 9 games, it's like, everything it's all good. Yes, we went through a bad stretch. Maybe we are just a 500 team, but we're not a 7-14 team. So I think we'll find out a little bit about that.
I think Samad Taylor is going to fix
stud.
the Padres over the next 9 days.
He's a stud.
All right, let's go to the phones. By the way, we're giving away these Dave Chappelle tickets. If you want them, hit us up on the talkback mic. Tell us if you thought it was a collapse or a comeback last night between the Spurs and the Knicks. Open the app, search for 760, and click on the talkback mic. But what do you got?
Ken on YouTube. It was an epic choke job. Spurs did everything they could to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah, most people feel that way. 877-767-4760 if you just want to weigh in general. And Hector does in the World Cup now underway. And Hector, you're with us on Schaefer and Sliwa. Thanks for calling in, man.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I know you got Warren Barton coming up, but that was an incredible match. I mean, the vibe, everything, it almost reminded me of 2018 when Chucky scored that goal against Germany. The only thing that was trippy about it, and I'm sure you'll talk about it with Warren, is that red card that they gave Mexico at the end. I thought that was a total makeup call, dude. The referee had given 2 red cards to South Africa, which I thought were deserved. But yeah, man, it's a great way to start for all El Tricolor fans, and I just want to get your thoughts on the game if you saw it.
We did see it, and thank you, Hector, for calling in. The idea of Mexico opening a World Cup at Azteca, as someone that I don't know about their roster, but I love
the
look and the feel and everything. That's special. That's unique. I'm glad it opened in Mexico. I'm glad it opened with Mexico in Azteca. I'm glad they played that way, truthfully. I was rooting for them to play well, and they did.
That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, to win 2. Listen, here's the thing.
I like what you said right there. Just also starting it like that there, like the Azteca, the stadium. Like that was a cool scene.
Yeah, I don't need to see it like in the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta to start the World Cup. Like started at Azteca, which has hosted like the World Cup final multiple times, I think.
We're selling sliders over here. It's like, let's not do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's not do it.
Here's what I would say. All this talk obviously here locally about, hey, how far will Team USA go? Dude, Mexico has to be a dark horse playing all these games at home until I think maybe through the round of 16 if they're lucky enough to advance that far. Like Mexico to me has to be a dark horse to potentially get to like a semifinal, right?
The only thing I will say to that, and this has definitely bared fruit in soccer, the pressure
is going to be unbelievable. Yeah.
You're home.
Yeah.
Do not disappoint your country.
It's a great point. It's if tens of millions are counting on you.
And if there's a sport where it happens, it's a penalty kick. It's
freaking
ridiculous. Soccer.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of which, Warren Barton, he is in Guadalajara getting ready to call South Korea and Czech Republic coming up tonight.
All right.
His reaction to the Mexico win. He will join us on the other side. He's an analyst for Fox Sports. That'll kick off hour 2 of Schaefer and Sliwa. We'll give away those Dave Chappelle tickets, by the way, coming up in the 4 o'clock hour as well. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Stay with us.
This report is sponsored by the California Department of Boating and Waterways. The Padres are in Baltimore getting set for their series this weekend against the Orioles. First pitch tomorrow afternoon is going to be at 4:05. In NFL news, the Broncos have signed head coach Sean Payton to a new 5-year deal. Payton, who's 62, had 2 years remaining on his current contract. This new deal will replace that. World Cup news, we had one game today. Mexico defeated South Africa 2-0. You can hear Team USA's game right here tomorrow starting at 5:30 right here on San Diego Sports 760. Whether you're on the lake or on the river or on the bay, when you hop on board for a day on the water, make sure everyone's on board with wearing a life jacket. Life jackets save lives. Get on board. A message from the California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.
It's Schaefer and Sliwa. Sean Schaefer. San Diego's own Alan Sliwa. Here's Schaefer and Sliwa.
All right, hour 2, Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. World Cup underway. Hoping to connect with Warren Barton, who will be on the call tonight of a World Cup match between South Korea and the Czech Republic. But we do have a winner, Alan.
Okay.
To kick off hour number 2 of the Dave Chappelle tickets. And didn't you say you want to go to that with our winner?
Yeah. You know what's so rude from all our winners? None of them have hit me up and said, "Hey, Al, heard you would like to go to the Dave Chappelle concert. Why don't you come with me?" Not one person has reached out and said that. So, no, I appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
That's really kind of them, right?
Freaking San Diego. I went to San Diego State. It's at VS. Nothing.
Dude,
no
if you
love
honestly,
at all.
People would want to go with you.
Yeah. Oh,
They would want to go with you.
Such a line out the door.
Serious.
I'd love to go to the Dave.
Here's the winner, by the way, of the Dave Chappelle tickets. Marcos. We don't need a drum roll. Marcos from San Diego. There it is. Congratulations.
Marcos.
To Marcos from San Diego. You're going to see Dave Chappelle, Viejas, June 21st. Tickets at livenation.com. Get yours before they're gone. All right. So, we're trying to connect with Warren. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Warren is in Guadalajara.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're
in San Diego.
Yep, he's calling one of the matches coming up here, so that might be a little bit different.
But with phones,
yeah,
you've used a phone before, right?
I've had a phone for years, so I'm a big phone guy. Phone guy.
Okay,
let's do this. Call him on WhatsApp, FaceTime him. Let's do WhatsApp, and then just put the phone towards YouTube, and then put the audio towards the microphone. Let's do it that way.
All right, let's see if he picks up. I'm texting with him. We could have a text conversation. Hey, what's your question, Alan, for Warren Bartle?
Mexico earlier.
What'd you think?
Mexico earlier. We'll see if we get him on. We'll figure it out.
All right, we'll figure that out.
If not, he can go on the talk back.
By the way, Tyler Heaps, SDFC's general manager,
that's right. Join us at 4:30
as well. At 4:30, we're going to be. How about our watch party tomorrow? That we're going to be at down in Little Italy.
Man, how
getting
cool
ready
is that
for
gonna be?
Team USA Paraguay on air.
That's going to be cool too, just vibe wise, right? I think if you want to be in any of these environments where it's obviously going to be so soccer centric and people excited about the World Cup, getting a chance to see USA tomorrow, that's going to be a fun place to be at. So I think you and I are both excited about that.
Really looking forward to that. Padres, by the way.
Screw this up, USA.
No, honestly.
Freaking handle business tomorrow, okay?
Have you seen, what, I'm glad you mentioned that. What's the betting line? What are the expectations tomorrow for USA Paraguay?
Yeah.
Supposed to win handedly? Are they supposed to struggle? I'm very curious about that. Betting odds. USA minus 105. Draw plus 265. Paraguay plus 310. So US is supposed to at least get a point out of that, if not more, tomorrow night at 6 p.m.
They got to get off to a good start too. Like Mexico today winning 2-0 is a statement for their group. That's a phenomenal, hey, come out the gate. You know, from a group perspective as well, phenomenal for them to do that. Kind of expect that a little bit from USA tomorrow as well. And listen, United States soccer, let's all be honest with you. We had Darren on here. This was about a week ago or so. And we're talking to Darren about it. And Darren basically said, you were not here. And we were asking the question to Darren. I was saying, what are the expectations? He's like, you got to get the United States of America excited about where the United States are. And the only way they're going to do that is they get into group play, and they get out of group play, and they're in that knockout stage.
Let's catch up right now with Warren Barton, who will be on the call for Fox, excellent soccer analyst. And that gets underway for Warren tonight with South Korea and the Czech Republic. But of course, earlier today, we saw Mexico 2-0 over South Africa at Azteca. So Warren, we appreciate you joining us here on San Diego Sports 760. Let's start with Mexico's performance from earlier. What impressed you the most about their 2-0 win?
Hi, John. Pleasure to speak to you. I think it was more that how controlled they was. I would have liked them to see a few more goals, but you can only imagine the stress and the pressure that the players was under. So, obviously the sendings off was a big part of the game. It changed a little bit of the way things was going. But I think genuinely it's a solid performance. It's one that they would be happy to get back to the hotel this evening, have some food, sit down and say, take a deep breath and say, right, that's done. The first one's out of the way. And now they can build and have confidence because, as I said, you can only imagine the pressure that they was under.
What is that? Talk to us a little bit about that pressure. We were talking about a little bit earlier. I mean, just for Mexico itself, and soccer seems to be the sport where here you are, you're representing your country. Now you're actually playing in front of your fans. You're playing in front of the people that represent your country. What kind of pressure is that? I know it's easy for us to say, I can't believe this guy made this mistake or that mistake, but it is common, especially in the World Cup where the moment gets a little bit too big for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, particularly down in Mexico, in Guadalajara, where I am as well, and obviously Mexico City, where the game was. If you can imagine being in the Olympics and times that by 100 with pressure. So if you had Michael Phelps getting ready to jump into the lane, yes, he has the pressure. But in America, we know there's lots of different distractions. There's lots of different sports. But here it's in their blood. It's in their system. It's the same in Europe, in Germany, France, and in England as well. So in Mexico here, they're so passionate. I've been here a couple of days and everywhere you go, they have the green shirts on, talking about the game, whether it's a young kid or whether it's a 70-year-old guy who I'm getting friendly with is a bell captain at the hotel. So it's just times it by 100 because it just can suffocate you. And you can imagine it's the Azteca, the altitude, the history that goes with it. The third time that a nation has hosted a World Cup, so that comes with added pressure. But they've done it and they can have a sigh of relief and now kick on and get the business done. But so much we're looking forward to the U.S. game tomorrow as well, obviously.
Yeah, of course, U.S. will get underway tomorrow against Paraguay here in Southern California. Warren Barton, Fox soccer analyst with us right now on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. How do the expectations differ, Warren, in your opinion, for, let's say, Team USA as opposed to Team Mexico for this 2026 World Cup?
Yeah, I think there is pressure. There's no doubt there's pressure on the U.S. boys and Mauricio Pochettino. But there's a lot more encouragement. There's a lot more leeway of enthusiasm for the game. The watch parties, everybody's getting ready. There's no doubt, there will be a massive disappointment if, God forbid, something went wrong and they didn't get the win that one. Added pressure now because Mexico's done their job and now it's down to the US and Canada tomorrow with the opening games. But as I said, there's a lot of football fans in the US. There's a lot of baseball fans. The NBA finals are going on at the moment. So it's not everybody's focus. When the game was going on here in Guadalajara, we're probably 200-300 miles away, there wasn't one person on the street. It was like COVID again. There was no one around. Tomorrow will be obviously a lot of people watching the game, getting ready for the game. But it's still, and again, I know I've been here 18 years in the US. It's still got room to grow and, the development and the understanding of the game and the improvement of the game. But this is an opportunity like the boys did in 94 to go out and get another generation of young players in love with the game. The women have done it. They've won 5 World Cups. Now it's down to the men to go out there and do it and perform. So there is a slight difference in, expectation, pressure. And also, the US wasn't, if they're not doing well in the first 20 minutes like maybe Mexico wasn't, Mexico, there was a few boos and groans in the opening game. I don't see that happening tomorrow for the US. There'll be a lot more encouragement, a lot more enthusiasm for the game. And, that can get behind the boys and drive them on.
Warren, I'm curious. Let's stay with that. Just expectations for USA. I think what do you think needs to happen for people to stop, like you just said, the distractions of, the baseball's going on or, I know USA is playing, but, I got to go to the mall and I got to go do this. Or what does the United States have to do in this World Cup run where you think they can have the attention of everybody, that the first topic in conversation is about USA men's soccer? What do you think has to happen? How far do they have to go in order for that to happen?
Well, I think if you got anywhere near the quarterfinals or please God, the semi-finals, then I think it's a really stand up and take notice. And because now it's a bigger World Cup, 48 teams, a team like the US are really good with momentum. If they can get out the group, that would be on their first radar to do that, top the group as well. Then you look at the round of 32, and all of a sudden you're getting belief, you're getting confidence. Then you get to the round of 16, and then you look at who you're playing with. If they had got to the quarterfinals or even the semi-finals, then I think everybody would take up and go forward from that. Because you look at Spain, France, you look at Argentina, Brazil, England, Portugal, they're looking to minimum to get to the quarterfinals, semi-finals, where if the US got there, it would be a magnificent achievement. And then, you're in the hands of the gods. The boys did it in 94. They got out their group, which was a great achievement with the likes of Colombia. But it has changed. There's the last, if you're third, there's 8 of you can go through if you finish third in a group. So it's a little bit more forgiving this tournament than maybe tournaments we've had before. But the US will want to do well. But if they ever got to the quarterfinals, I think that would be a wonderful achievement.
One just quick follow-up to that. Realistic?
Yeah, I don't see that's out of the question. I really don't. Round of 16 would be satisfying, but if you got to quarterfinals, I think, yeah, why not? I mean, it's home field advantage. The fans have to realise they make such a big part of it. I live in San Diego, and San Diego Football Club fans get behind their team. We've heard the club and the players talk about that. It gives you such a lift. The Padres, if they're doing well, Petco Park, there's no better atmosphere when everybody's getting behind the team. So if the US can do that and get some momentum and belief, it'd be a wonderful time. I wouldn't mind being in one of the watch parties that are going on in San Diego at the moment.
Warren Barton calls soccer for Fox. You can catch him tonight when the World Cup continues in Guadalajara between South Korea and the Czech Republic. Warren, back to some of the favorites you mentioned there briefly. Who is your favorite as this tournament is now underway? Who do you believe ultimately will be the last team standing?
I always think the team, whether it's in the Champions League or in World Cup, who come runner-up the previous time before. So France, from my experience, and because of the side of the group that they are, I think they've got a wonderful chance with the depth and the quality. So my favourite would be France, because they've been there, seen it, done it. They won it in Russia. They got to the final last time out in Qatar. So they would be my favourite. Spain at the moment with their young players on the other group. I also have a Ronaldo. We've seen Messi do it in Qatar. Cristiano Ronaldo to go and win it at 41 years of age. We've seen Tom Brady win trophies at his age. So why not with Ronaldo? And obviously, I'd love my Three Lions to go there. But every time I talk about that, my Three Lions, they get knocked out in the semi-finals or the quarterfinals. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut. So, yeah, just let them tick along and try and grind out results. But I look at France and think, yeah, they're the benchmark.
Warren, appreciate you taking time for us real quick before you go, because you're calling this match tonight. Korea, Czechia, the Czech Republic. What are your expectations tonight?
Well, there's so many South Korean fans here, and obviously Song, who plays at LAFC in the MLS. So many fans watching him. They've been based here for 10 days and been acclimatized in Utah as well. So I think they've got a really good chance. I think it will be a tight game, but I do expect Korea to win. Watch out, though, for Czechia with set pieces. In the qualifying rounds, they scored 10 goals. They're 28 from set pieces. So that's something that they can maybe rely on in these type of games.
Warren, appreciate it. We're looking forward to hearing the call and watching the match here tonight between South Korea and the Czech Republic. And safe travels over the next few weeks. And we'll check in with you again soon here from San Diego. Thanks for doing it.
Okay. Have a beer on me, guys. Particularly you, John.
No
you
problem.
need a beer.
Yeah, we'll get him. We'll get him one. Don't worry.
I do need a beer. I really do. Thanks, Warren. All right. That's Warren Barton, who's in Guadalajara.
Yep.
He happens to go to the same Orange Theory as I do. Now, he is much better at working out. He's 57. I just saw on Wikipedia.
Okay.
I just turned 46.
Yep.
He's a more now. Here's the thing: he played for the English national team. I didn't.
You didn't.
So he's just a better athlete. Now it's close.
Well, just like he played for the English national team, but let's go through some of the things you've done athletically in your life. Go ahead. Start with the first thing, and then I'll go to the second one.
I had gym class with Kobe Bryant. The rap is on the other side.
Ooh,
this is Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app, and it's true.
All right, San Diego Sports 760, your home for live coverage of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Get daily match updates from the opening match, June 11th, to the final, July 19th. Hear live play-by-play of the most anticipated games in every USA match. 2026 World Cup coverage lives on San Diego Sports 760. Man, I'm so glad. This is such a great mix to get the World Cup right now. I love it. I think it's such a, like, to just all of a sudden have, again, it's once every 4 years, but you get 30 plus days where, hey, this is on. Hey, that's on. I can have it on in the background. I love it.
To me, it's a little bit of the NCAA tournament. The one thing I will say that Warren Barton touched on.
Compare BYU in the NCAA tournament to the freaking World Cup, okay?
It's different, but it to me, it feels that way. That's how it feels to me. I don't consume soccer the way some people consume soccer.
Like Utah State is the equivalent of France.
Here's the analogy. A lot of people don't watch college basketball until March. And a lot of other people don't watch soccer until the World Cup.
Yep.
So that's my analogy for it. What was I going to say? I had a point to make. And it was so good.
How good was it?
It was the best point I probably have ever made
I could tell, too. I'm like, oh, something's coming right now.
It's funny how that always works that way, isn't it?
Yeah. Man, it was so good. All right. Tyler Heaps will join us coming up at 4:30. SDFC's general manager. Right now, let's get to this.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Was last night at the Garden one of the biggest collapses in sports history?
All right, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I'm not going to be dramatic either. Yes, how is it not? It's the NBA Finals. You got it. There's the difference between going 2-2 to 3-1. You're up 29 points. You had 88 different chances to close out that game. I think it is, no question about it, one of the biggest collapses, and I think we'll remember it. I mean, listen, an NBA fan or not, most people today are talking about Taylor Swift being there and also talking about the Knicks winning that game.
Yeah, like when you just do the quick Google search on like the biggest collapses, obviously Falcons, Patriots. I think that certainly would rival it. But beyond that, a lot of people are talking about a series, like the Yankees led the Red Sox 3-0 infamously before losing that series, or the Warriors leading the Cavs 3-1 when they won 73 games. But that's more of a series story than
not
it
like
is
a game.
So I would put it on par with Patriots, Falcons. Some would probably say Patriots, Falcons more significant. It's a one-game winner take all. Others might say last night recency bias,
but I think there
is
is
on that
I
level.
I don't think it's higher than that. I don't think it's the equivalent of that, but I don't think it's that far off.
I remember being
You're
a kid
in the NBA Finals, up 29 to tie the series.
I remember being a kid when the Oilers led the Bills 35-3. There was nothing bigger at the time than that, and the Bills came all the way back to win. That was unbelievable, but you're also going back 33 years.
I remember a game in July between the Reds and the Padres.
Yes, it was
4-2. And Padres stormed back.
No, that was in June, not July. I remember that game. It was this June.
It's this past June.
It was 24 hours ago, actually.
People, I mean, can you imagine the black eye on Cincinnati for losing that game?
Next question.
Skyline Chili will never recover. Are the Spurs done?
Yeah, I do think they are. I think they're done. As much as I'd like to see the San Antonio Spurs win this series, I think it ends up going 6. I think what we said yesterday holds. If San Antonio won that game, I think they win the series in 7. The Knicks have 3 chances to win an NBA championship. The Spurs have led in every game by double digits and can't find a way to hold on to it. Why would I not think that the series is over?
I wouldn't be surprised if it ended on Saturday night in San Antonio. I think there'll be so many Knicks fans. I think the Knicks have every motivation in the world not to play with their food, so to speak, and get it back to New York, even though that scene would be surreal. I think there's a good, reasonable path to the Knicks getting this thing done in 5.
Can we at 45 or something, we got to talk about these idiots outside of the hotel of the San Antonio Spurs
throwing
with
eggs
Wemby.
at Victor Wembanyama?
Let's save on
You have an issue with that? Next question.
Freaking idiots.
Would you guys take a 5-4 record for the Padres 9-game roadie?
Brother, in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. I'm not allowing winning 2 of 3 against Cincinnati and how they won those games or how they lost those games. I'm not letting that kind of change what the Padres have been over the last month. So I'm taking 5-4 in a beats.
Give it to me right now.
Oh,
The alternative is they're 4-12 in their last 16 games, and they continue on that path and go 2-7 or 3-6.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll take it.
It kind of tells you the state of where the Padres are, to where we're like 5-4 injected into my veins.
Yes. Yes.
100% it tells you, and I think it says something to that.
Next question, final question.
Do you guys agree with Manny when he says he sucks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. On the other
Yes.
side, Tyler Heaps.
Yes,
Simple
again.
as that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do. We do.
And until he doesn't suck,
We'll let you know when he doesn't.
and I'm glad that he admitted it, but he doesn't even need to admit it because I've seen it.
Is Mark Medina joining us or not? I could ask you that off.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, Mark Medina has covered the NBA
Talk
for a
NBA
long time.
finals.
We'll talk about where the finals currently sit. But Tyler Heaps, STFC's general manager, with more on STFC's start, the World Cup getting underway, expectations for the second half for the club as well. Tyler Heaps on the other side here on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Fiesta del Reyes in Old Town San Diego. The Padres are in Baltimore getting set for their series this weekend against the Orioles. First pitch tomorrow afternoon will be at 4:05. In NFL news, the Broncos and head coach Sean Payton agreed to a new 5-year contract. Payton, who's 62, had 2 years remaining on his current deal. This new one will replace that. World Cup finals. We got one today. Mexico defeated South Africa 2-0. You can hear Team USA's game right here tomorrow on San Diego Sports 760 beginning at 5:30. Don't miss the weekend art and food fair at the Cosmopolitan Hotel and Restaurant. Artists showing their unique work, live entertainment, curated drinks, and menu, all in a beautiful historic setting. It's all happening on select weekends throughout the summer. OldTownCosmopolitan.com for more.
All right, Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, home of SDFC. And of course, the World Cup is underway as well. Great to reconnect with SDFC's general manager. Tyler Heaps is with us right now on 760. And Tyler, we appreciate you taking a few minutes for us. World Cup underway. It's kind of a unique time to be in Major League Soccer, right? With this lengthy layoff for 5, 6, 7 weeks. How does it impact the club? And thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, guys. And it's a unique time, I think, for soccer in the whole world, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a larger World Cup, so you got more players playing in the World Cup at the moment. You've got a transfer window coming up and a lot on hold right now because people are seeing what happens with these players in the World Cup. And then, yeah, to your point, MLS, we had a mandatory 3-week break. So we're coming to the end of that, and then we start kind of a second preseason on Monday. So it probably came at a good time. We needed it. We needed our guys to get healthy. And we also now have the ability to improve the squad as we get ready for the second half of the season.
Tyler, let's stick to the, if you want to call it, this stretch here, but as we come to a break, SDFC, 17 points, sitting in 10th in the West. Just, you guys did such a great job of creating these expectations in your inaugural year. And everybody, obviously enjoyed watching the run San Diego and SDFC obviously had last season. Just what do you make of where you guys are sitting now? And I know the city is expecting big things from SDFC, and how much do you, I guess you could say, enjoy having some pressure behind the team already this early in SDFC's history?
Yeah, and I say we have expectations to be better, and we know that we can be better and should be better. And so, yeah, we look at the table, and of course, we're a little bit gutted and disappointed. And that will be a little bit of fuel to our fire as we get ready for this. I think we started this season really well, but then we went through a really rough patch. And part of that was injuries, part of that was red cards, and there are a lot of things that I've never seen before in my life that were happening. And sometimes those things you can control, and sometimes you can't. And so for us, it's just about making sure we try to leave as little doubt as possible. And I think we did a really good job of that in year one, especially down the stretch. I mean, we went on a couple 10-game runs that were really crucial and important for us. And now we know we need to go do that again. We're only 15 games into the season, which is crazy to say. So we're not even at the halfway point yet. And so for us, it's just about trying to, again, show up every single day, make sure that we try to leave as little doubt as possible. And the points will come in the second half of the year. And this league is one, too, where you make the playoffs and anything can happen. So we just need to set ourselves up that we're playing our best football down the stretch.
Tyler, just a quick follow-up to that. How encouraged are you? How encouraged are you guys will turn it around? And like you said, put yourself in a position where at least you get a playoff run.
Yeah, I'm confident. I think everybody in that whole building is confident, from all of our players to our entire staff. I think we've dropped way too many points in the last 5-10 minutes of games, and that's been the most disappointing because our season could look very different, and our attitude going into that break could be completely different. But these are the cards that have been drawn for us, and we also know we need to take responsibility for that. And it's also a unique time that we get to make the team better, right? So it's almost like the trade window being open in baseball, and in the sense that we can now try to go and acquire players and bring in those pieces that we think can really push us for that playoff spot, but also push us deep into that again.
Yeah, can you take us through that? Tyler Heaps is the general manager of SDFC, because there's the second transfer window, right? Is that what you're alluding to? That opens in July?
Correct. Opens in the middle of July, but you've probably already seen it. There's already some action happening. So those guys, anybody that you bring in from now just can't be registered to play a game until July 15th. Gotcha. Now, I think our first game is the 17th or something like that. So we are active right now. It's all about timing. And so, yeah, we're trying to make deals with other clubs. We're trying to find agreements with other players. Some of that looks like internal trades. Some of that's external. So that's where it's a little bit different than baseball in the sense that you can go out and sign any player in the entire world. So That's something that we're trying to, again, look to improve the team. We have a lot of roster flexibility right now. We're looking at an additional DP. We're looking at additional TAM players that can probably come in and push to start. And then we also could have outgoings. That's the other unique case, right? We've got a lot of really good young players. And I think that's what we have done really well this year. We lead the league in minutes played under 21. We've had a lot of really good young players step up, such as David Vasquez, Manu Dua is a staple again, Luca Bombino. And so we also could see a case where a big club comes for one of those. And it's a dream of those players to play at the highest level. And so we've got to balance both sides of it, but we're really excited to get started again and see how we can really build on this preseason.
Kind of as an aside, Tyler, when you see the World Cup now underway, and this city is so soccer crazed. I mean, you see it firsthand with SDFC, and then I'm watching today your soccer celebration underway, like in Mission Beach, Mexico's playing. There's thousands of fans rooting for Team Mexico earlier today in San Diego. We'll be in Little Italy tomorrow as part of your soccer celebration event as well. Looking forward to broadcasting live from there. I guess my question is just like, what is it like to be in San Diego and working in your role, considering San Diego is such a unique American soccer market?
It just shows, one, it's the global game, and that's what I love so much about this sport, is it brings every nationality, every walk of life together, every background together. And to your point, San Diego is one of the best markets, not only in the country, but I would argue in the world. And so, yeah, to see those pictures, it's a kudos to the team that has worked so tirelessly to put that on. Fair play, that's going to be on every single day of the World Cup. And so I'm really excited to see the different fan bases come there. I'm fortunate. I'll head up with my wife tomorrow and go to the game at SoFi. So I'm really excited to see how the U.S. do. Got a lot of connections there, not only in the staff, but also from players that I've worked with in the past. And so that's where I think in my role, it's really cool to see. I had the pleasure of working just up at the Switzerland Hotel yesterday, meeting with a few guys that we signed at Monaco. So it's really cool to see these guys, because this is the pinnacle, right? This is why you work so hard. This is why these guys dream so much to be in the world stage. And it's a privilege that we get to host it in our country. And it's a privilege that we're in this city, which is so soccer crazy.
San Diego FC's Tyler Heaps joining us here as the general manager on the Schaefer and Sliwa show. Tyler, I'm curious, what's a good run from your perspective for the United States? So what can you walk away with and say, hey, you know what, USA soccer took a step in this, World Cup tournament, and you can be encouraged about what the future holds for them. What would that look like?
It's a good question. Knockout tournaments are difficult because you never know who you're going to get. And so it's hard to say that they have to make the round of 16 or they have to make the quarterfinals, because you just never know who you're going to run into. Especially in this new format, you could get a third place team that could be a really tough team all of a sudden, and you can win the group, and then you've got a really difficult time in the knockout. So what I'd say is that they've got to do well in the group. I think they've got to push to try to get the best run possible. So they've got to try to win this group, which I think they can do. Paraguay's no pushover. I think Australia they should beat. And that last game against Turkey is going to be a tricky one because they've got some good players. But I think just looking at their last two performances against Senegal and Germany, they should have the expectation to get out of the group and win it. And then you just got to see what your matchups look like. But they're going to get some big teams as they get into the round of 32 and things like that. I think a quarterfinals would be amazing on home soil, and I think that should be their aim and their goal. Anything beyond that, I think, would be incredible.
Do you like how it's funny in sports, we see a lot of like expansion, right? They talk about it like in college athletics. We see it in other American sports, like the size of postseasons, even in Major League Soccer. Do you like that the World Cup has gotten to this spot where they've gone from 32 nations to 48? Is that advantageous for soccer as a whole or not?
Oh, I go back and forth. I think it's amazing to see like Curacao, like I'm watching their videos. I mean, it's unbelievable. You even watch South Africa walking in, like, it's so much more than football. Like, this is their culture. And I love when these countries put it on display, and I love when their fans come and do that. And so the fact that the Cape Verdes and the Curaçaos get in, I think is incredible. And I think it's a real treat for them to be able to experience and see it. But I'm also a firm believer that this is the pinnacle tournament and that it should be only the best in the world as well. And so I go back and forth on it. I'm really curious to see how this plays out. I'm curious to see now how teams start playing in their last group stage game, knowing that 8 third place teams go through. I do think it's going to change a little bit how some of these games are played. I'm curious to see some of these smaller games if the fans are full or if the stadiums are full and how that impacts it. So it's tough to say right now. I probably go back and forth on it.
Tyler, final one from me. Curious, and I think just if you could shed a little bit of light on it. Obviously, we have not seen Chucky this season. And can you just, for those that maybe take us a little bit behind the scenes, what can we expect? Is that something that it will get figured out, or it's in the process of get figured out? Can you just update some of the fans who have asked about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've tried to be transparent from the beginning. And so it's a tough one because just like everybody at the organization, we want to see him play football again. And so it's in all of our best interest to try to work together to find a solution so that he can continue to play football, because that was not our expectation from the beginning, was that it was going to carry on this long. Now, as is every decision in football, all three parties need to be on board. And that's the club like ourselves, that's the receiving club, but that's also the player and his side. And so we are actively working on trying to find what that solution looks like. He will not play for San Diego again. I think we've been pretty clear on that one. He just doesn't fit, and I think that's a near and a long-term thing. And again, our intention is to continue to improve the squad. Our intention is to try to find solutions, but also to work with him and his representatives to try to, again, get him back on the field. I think that's what all of us want to see, and that was always our expectation from the beginning.
Tyler, appreciate you taking time for us. We're looking forward to this month-long soccer celebration that SDFC is putting on. We'll be out in Little Italy again tomorrow afternoon. Get ready for Team USA. You'll be at that match here in Southern California. But thanks for the time, and we look forward to doing it when the second half gets back underway.
Appreciate it, guys. Looking forward to seeing you out there at Fit Social or somewhere down the street.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Again, Tyler Heaps, SDFC's general manager, with us here on Schaefer and Sliwa.
All right.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, the Chucky situation has been a unique one, I would say.
And what I appreciate from him too, it's like, and just address it. And they have. It's not like they haven't, but there are a lot of times where your fans are asking, like, where is this guy? What's going to happen?
Of course.
And what's the clarity that you get from it? But I'm excited for you can call it second half of the season. They got some work to do. And everybody seems optimistic they'll be able to turn some stuff around. So let's see what happens.
All right. Mark Medina, longtime NBA reporter, will join us at 5 p.m. But on the other side, what did the Knicks radio team have to say about Taylor Swift on a hot mic? You'll hear that coming up next here until 6 p.m. This is Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
On America's turning 250 and San Diego Sports 760 is celebrating with $250,000 in cash. Listen for your chance to win $2,500 so you can take the ultimate American getaway and visit the states, the cities, landmarks, and national parks that make our country amazing. Win your share of $250,000. Just listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win is coming up after 5 p.m. on San Diego Sports 760.
We'll give away Chris Stapleton tickets
in
the 5 o'clock hour.
I like that.
We'll tell you how to win those tickets. It will involve our talkback mic. We'll tell you how to win those Chris Stapleton tickets July 11th here in San Diego. Mark Medina on the NBA and Game 4 and what's to come. He'll join us at 5 p.m. And speaking of the NBA Finals, the Knicks radio team got caught on a hot mic.
Okay.
Their play-by-play voice, their color analyst is Monica McNutt, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, ESPN, I think.
ESPN analyst. And they had some interesting things to say about Taylor Swift. Now, this could have been way worse. Hot mics, is that not one of the ultimate like fears of like radio?
Anybody in our business?
personalities?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, we'll hear it here. I don't think they said anything crazy.
I agree. But it does involve Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Therefore, it does have traction
Become a story.
and have some like virality to it. This is what the Knicks radio team, including Monica McNutt, had to say about Taylor Swift being in the building last night.
Is that Taylor Swift down there?
No, I think Gray was just saying her name for no reason to distract me.
No, that's her.
Yeah, but where?
With that long ponytail. Ain't that her in the blue? Yeah, I literally was like, that's her.
I don't know if I believe you.
Wow, look at Tyler go. You don't even know where you're
my
looking.
wife.
Yeah, sure. She's not a
I'm
Knicks
recording
fan.
it right
Get
now.
out of here, girl.
She's not a Knicks fan. Get out of here, girl. Later asked by TMZ about those comments, she kind of backtracked on them, didn't she?
A little bit. You know, she said, I don't take it back, but she said, maybe I just don't know. I didn't know that she was, I guess there's some stories out here that she's a huge Knicks fan. Can we all just stop here for a second? I mean,
what are we talking about?
I was thinking the same thing that radio host.
Of course
I was thinking the exact same. I'm like, what's going on here?
When is in every shot?
She's Taylor Swift showing up to a Knicks. Is she coming here because she really was waiting for Game 4 because she wanted to know what kind of defense the Spurs were going to have against Jalen Brunson? Can we stop pretending like everybody wasn't surprised that she wasn't there?
At midcourt with this pair of sisters, apparently, in the same outfit, jumping up and down all night long. You can see them in every single shot on television. As big of a topic of conversation until that final play as anything. Until the end of that game, Taylor Swift was among the bigger topics, I'd say, of Game 4.
I think Monica McNutt off the air
could have been way worse,
which got caught, said the same thing that everybody else was thinking throughout that game.
Is she a Knicks fan?
I'm like, what is this? What's the storyline here? And then listen, I don't know all the details of it, but can we also not pretend like, no, she's been a fan. Like, you know, she was Larry Johnson in the 90s. That was her guy.
Social media says for 20 years she's been a Knicks fan.
All right.
She won a contest at MSG and it was like the Little Knicks something contest. Now she's also a Chiefs fan. There's a reason for that.
Yep.
I want to say, I'm not kidding, Brent. Is this? I want to say she roots for the LA Dodgers.
That's what the text
in
line
some
says.
capacity. She's been at Dodger playoff games before.
Okay.
So it's like, you know, I don't know. It seems like you're kind of cherry picking teams.
How about this? How about she was there for business yesterday? It was a business decision.
Business decision. I like that.
It's a good business decision.
Yep.
Hey, I'm going to get all these eyes on me. The NBA is doing massive ratings.
Yep.
President Trump was there for Game 3. Taylor Swift is in the house in Game 4. You see the celebrity row at Knicks games. I mean, can we just leave it at that?
But can I say
we have to like justify she's getting in the huddle and telling Mike Brown what kind of defense they should
Maybe
run?
that's why they won. But dude, imagine what could have been said on a hot mic. It's Game 4 of the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
What if they really like took a shot at Taylor Swift? Like, what if they were cursing about it or screaming about it? Or,
you know
what I mean?
Can
like
happen at any
anything
time.
can
Sure,
happen.
Sure can happen.
In that situation. To your point, I don't think anything that was said was overly interesting, other than the fact that it was about Taylor Swift.
Name was mentioned,
and then it's like on social media. There's some of those tweets that have like 50,000 likes based on that interaction between the radio guy and Monica McNutt. If they were talking about like OJ Anunoby,
sure,
there would have been like no,
I know what you mean.
Viral
Taylor
context.
Swift is one of the biggest names literally in the world, and that's why it's a story.
Yeah. And like someone just put in our chat, she grew up in Reading, Pennsylvania. Why is she not a Sixers? She's an Eagles fan, by the way. Eagles, but she likes the Chiefs, but they've played in the Super Bowl. So
she was at the Cavs Knicks game,
but not wearing Knicks gear.
Not wearing Knicks gear.
Right.
She likes winners.
Yeah. But that's exactly what she likes.
Winners.
That's what she likes. By the way, has there been a better 15-second stretch in NBA history than OG Anunoby's stretch with the block on Fox, and then the tip in with 1.2 seconds? Like, does it get better than that? Is there something more you can accomplish?
And he's been so good in the playoffs for them.
He hit 6 threes in the game.
OG Anunoby is an absolute stud. I think I told you, I was listening to the broadcast, and at one point they got it back up to 14. I'm like, oh, we can breathe. And then bam, Anunoby hits a three, gets it to 11. Anunoby hits another bucket, maybe a bucket or three, gets it to single digits. I know those two plays are going to stand out, but that man he's been really good for them all series.
I think off the top of my head, the only other scenario that for, guy that's done more in less time, Reggie Miller against the Knicks when he hit like the 3 threes in 12 seconds.
Got the steal. Yep.
But dude, 41 minutes, 33 points, 7 of 9 from 3 in the tip-in. 7 of 9 in an NBA Finals game.
He's got a little bit in him, which is probably not talked about enough. Don't forget, he's got a championship under his belt with the Toronto Raptors. He was part of that series against the Golden State Warriors where KD gets injured, Clay. But he's arguably one of the more underrated players in the whole NBA. I mean, that's how good OG Anunoby is, and never really gets talked about.
They did last night. He got talked about a lot. I don't think he's ever buying anything again in New York. Forever a hero. Yes, if they finish it off forever. A hero. Mark Medina with much more on what played out last night in the Garden and what's ahead as this series shifts to San Antonio for Game 5. Plus, we're giving away tickets to see a sold-out show with Chris Stapleton July 11th in Chula Vista at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. We'll tell you how to win those tickets coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. But Mark Medina, longtime NBA writer and reporter, will join us next on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. It's brought to you by Capital One. The Padres and Orioles are getting set for game one of their series this weekend in Baltimore. First pitch tomorrow afternoon is going to be at 4:05. In NFL news, the Broncos and head coach Sean Payton agreed to a new 5-year contract. Payton, who's 62, had 2 years remaining on his current contract, but this new deal will replace that. World Cup scores. We got one final today. Mexico defeated South Africa 2-0. You can hear Team USA's game right here tomorrow night at 5:30 on San Diego Sports 760. Capital One is a founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports Network. Earn unlimited double miles on every purchase with the Capital One Venture X business card. Big purchasing power means you can spend more and earn more. The Capital One Venture X business card. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
It's Schaefer and Sliwa. Sean Schaefer and San Diego's own Alan Sliwa. Here's Schaefer and Sliwa.
All right, final hour here. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. We'll give away those Chris Stapleton tickets this hour. We'll tell you in about 10 minutes how to win. But great to reconnect with Mark Medina, longtime NBA reporter. And what a great time to talk to Mark right now here in San Diego. Let's just start with last night, Mark. You've covered the sport for a while. Have you ever seen anything like last night, the way it all played out? And thanks for hopping on.
Well, to be clear, I've seen plenty, and I've seen more impressive things. Thankfully, I had the blessing of covering the Lakers and the Warriors. So I saw Kobe Bryant do a lot of things, including his 60-point game and his final game. I saw Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, to win a championship. But I think this is the best moment outside of winning a championship in Knicks history because of just the magnitude of a finals game, overcoming a 29-point deficit. OG Anunoby unexpectedly having that game-winning tip in. It checked every single box. But thankfully, I've been in a pretty blessed position to see even more greatness up close.
Mark, when you walk away from that game, and I think this is most of the conversation, we could sit here and tell you that how unbelievable it was for the Knicks to come back. And I could also sit here and tell you the collapse of up 29 if you're the San Antonio Spurs. When you walk away from that game, are you talking more about the Spurs? Are you talking more about the Knicks?
I think equal. I think both things can be true, and both you need two things to happen to tango, right? So the Knicks, they earned this win because they have that resilience mindset. That's what got them this far. They're not just defined by star power. With Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, they have a lot of great, secondary players like OG Anunoby who have fulfilled their role more consistently as the season has gone on. But what you've seen with the Spurs is very inexplicable. They've, on one hand, have shown some of their youthful inexperience, but it's not just, inexperience. De'Aaron Fox is a veteran all-star caliber player, and he made a boneheaded decision with instead of running out the clock to just go for the layup, and OG Anunoby winds up blocking him. And his explanation afterwards and thinking, well, I think that I could beat him because I'm faster. That might be true. I remember talking to Mike Brown, ironically, when he was coaching the Sacramento Kings, and he felt like he was the fastest player that he ever coached. And that's saying a lot because he was assistant coach with the Spurs when Tony Parker was there, but you got to know game clock management. So there have been some youthful mistakes with Victor Wembanyama, for example, having up and down play, and I think getting away with some cheap shots with his fouls. But this was a team-wide collapse, both youth and veteran players.
Mark Medina with us right now. We're talking about the NBA Finals, which head to San Antonio with the Knicks on the verge right now, leading the series 3-1. I'm glad you mentioned Wemby. My feelings on this player have changed a lot this postseason. We've seen his brilliance, but we've also seen him take on this villainous role throughout the league. How do you look at Victor Wembanyama right now, who again is a brilliant player, but it seems like there's been a lot that's played out in addition to that has gotten a lot of the headlines?
Yeah, I'm with you that my view of him has definitely evolved. I think that this year I noticed early on that he wasn't this, humble, soft-spoken superstar that reminded you of Tim Duncan. He has that competitive edge and feeds into things like an opponent's rivalry and the matchup and wanting to win MVP. And I thought that those were great things. That's what you want in a competitor. It's fine to, be outspoken about it and also show it on the court. But I think that's a different conversation than what we've seen in the playoffs, where, he's grabbing Jalen Brunson's hair and pushing him to the ground, him getting locked up with Karl Anthony Towns. And I get it. It's playoff basketball. You have to be physical. You have to absorb physicality. But I think some of those examples crossed the line. And, frankly, he got away with the Jalen Brunson call. And if that was called correctly, he would have already accumulated more flagrant foul points and would have had to, serve a suspension here. So I think that he can be that player that is accountable to his teammates, humble to his coaches, and has, that general understated and, kind of insular personality, but he can also be chippy and competitive and all that, but he doesn't have to be demonstrative with those over-the-line flagrant foul type cheap shots. So that seems to be something that's beneath him, because he's a really talented player and he's a fundamentally sound player. Usually players that do those sort of things are players that are enforcers, and that's, their MO on the team, that they're trying to get under a guy's skin. That's not Victor Wembanyama's role. Like, his role is to be the superstar on the team. So yeah, I'm surprised about it, but I guess there has been this subtle personality shift as you've seen his career progress in year 3.
On X, Mark Medina, Mark G_Medina, does a lot of work covering the NBA, does a fantastic job. Mark, so we kind of watching the way the series has played out, and it's crazy you got one team that's had a lead by double digits or more. Of course, we know what happened yesterday in each one of these games, yet they're down 3-1. Do you see the San Antonio Spurs making this a series? Do you see the San Antonio Spurs still putting up a fight against the New York Knicks, or do you think last night was the end of this series?
Well, I think that the Knicks have clearly shown they're going to win the series. They're going to win the championship for the first time since 1973. But I don't think the series is over in the sense that Game 5 Saturday in San Antonio isn't going to be competitive. I even give the Spurs the slight edge in winning that game because they're going to feel that desperation. They'll also get, the benefit of the home crowd. And naturally, the Knicks, even though they're a resilient team, they'll let their guard down the same way they let their guard down in Game 3 a little bit, as well as to open the first half in Game 4. Now, part of it also had to do with external things. Game 4, Jalen Brunson didn't shoot the ball at the beginning of the game. Karl Anthony Towns got in early foul trouble. Game 3, there's no way around it, no matter where you stand politically. Like, there was a lot of oxygen, attention sucked into President Trump's visit in Game 3. Those were all elements. So I'm not going to dismiss human element with the Knicks in Game 5, but they've also shown that they can overcome the odds. So they can very well close this out, Game 5. But regardless, I don't see this going beyond Game 6, because if the Spurs push it to another game, I think the Knicks are going to view it as an elimination game. They'll have all that excitement at the Garden, and I think that the Knicks have clearly shown they're the better team in this series because of their experience, the way they play as a team, and that there's been more consistency from top to bottom.
Mark, do you see it not as a formality, but it's easy to say right now, hey, we're beginning a stretch where San Antonio is going to appear in the NBA Finals a number of times. They've got this young core with Wemby and Harper and Castle. But is that overly simplistic when you just look at the Western Conference in general, or even an Oklahoma City team that's clearly going to be motivated based on what played out in the Western Conference Finals this year? Like, how do you see San Antonio evolving in the 3 to 5 years to come?
Yeah, I mean, I think win or lose, the Spurs championship window is wide open, and because of who they have, they're going to be in that mix. Now, to your point, that doesn't mean they're the favorite. That doesn't mean it's guaranteed, because the Oklahoma City Thunder have their core intact. Yeah, they're probably going to make some changes because they fell short in the playoffs, but they're not changing the core. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's coming back, obviously, but even with Chet Holmgren's shortcomings in the playoffs, I would be surprised he gets traded. His max extension kicks in. He's still pretty young in his prime. He can make more improvements with his game and his strength. Same thing with Jalen Williams. His max extension kicks in, but he had injuries. I think that they're going to conclude they just need to have better health for him. So, yeah, it's not guaranteed the Spurs are going to win a championship, let alone a dynasty, but they're going to be in this conversation, assuming that their main core is intact and relatively healthy for at least the next 5 years.
Mark, I'm going to slip in one quick Laker question here. And as you see the Western Conference, we know how competitive it is. You guys were just talking about the Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs. So we know they're going to be in the mix. How do the Lakers get in the conversation over these next couple of years where you feel like they got a legitimate chance to compete with the Thunder, compete with the San Antonio Spurs? And if you don't see that as realistic, it might take longer than that, whatever the case is. Just how do you think they get into that mix?
Well, they have a great starting point because they have Luka Doncic on their team, and he is a generational star. He's still in his prime. Now the challenge is, how do you build the right roster around him? I think the low-hanging fruit is secure his backcourt mate, Austin Reeves. I know that there's a lot of mixed feelings. What is his market value? How consistent he is? But I think the prevailing thing that every Laker fan has to keep in mind is his game's better. His chemistry with Luka is really good offensively. Luka likes him. That's kind of important. And what is the alternative? So I know there's going to be a fair conversation that the Lakers front office have with Austin Reeves and his representatives on what's the right number. Does that mean the max? Maybe not, but they're also not going to lowball him. So that's point number one. Point number two, they got up at the center spot, even though DeAndre Ayton, I would think, would exercise his player option because I don't think that he's going to find better options. They got to find a better starting caliber center because DeAndre Ayton, very inconsistent. So who's going to be available? Maybe Mitchell Robinson with the Knicks, but maybe the Knicks think, you know what, he's been so great as a finisher, rebounder, defender. Let's keep him. So backup option, Robert Williams III would be great. He does have that injury history, but maybe because they still have Jackson Hayes and DeAndre Ayton, there is enough reinforcements. But Robert Williams III should be their starting center if Mitchell Robinson isn't available. And then wings, Rui Hachimura would be great to come back because he's grown as a shooter defender. Can they find the right number? But regardless of whether they do or not, they still have to find younger 3-and-D players. Marcus Smart is great, but he's older up in age. He has the injury history. So let's see if they can get a little bit younger. So those would be the main things they have to prioritize, as well as obviously see what happens with LeBron. I think they're better off trying to keep him because he has adjusted well to that third option. But with LeBron, he's not getting $52 million this season as he did last. So how do they find that respectable number that's above, the certainly veteran minimum, but obviously also above taxpayer mid-level? So can they find the right deal for him without compromising their ability to build everything else around Luka?
I heard Lakers in 5 in the NBA Finals.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like they're well set up.
They do all those things. They can win a championship. It's just
easy.
A lot of those steps, very, very complicated each step of the way.
Very complicated. Mark, appreciate you taking time for us here between games 4 and 5. Thanks for doing it in San Diego.
Thank you, Mark.
I appreciate you guys.
All right, great stuff from Mark Medina as the final switch to San Antonio for Game 5 Saturday night.
Yeah, it's interesting. He was actually. It's been more your take on the Wemby villain thing.
Everyone's into it now.
And I think maybe the way Mark described it too was like, I don't know why that just kind of clicked for me. Like, oh, okay.
He's he went from, I agree. His first 2 years, he was like humble. Then he shaved his head and he's become this it's not a bad thing. I just feel like he's changed his persona overnight.
And I think good for the league in a weird way. Listen, don't do dirty stuff, but I'm saying good for the league.
That they have.
And I think that the San Antonio Spurs, that's just not an organization that's tied to that. Like, you don't think Spurs and...
No, that doesn't remind me of Manu Ginobili. All right, on the other side, what Manny Machado had to say about his own poor play to our Kevin Aceel. Hear from Manny Machado coming up on the other side. Plus, we're giving away Chris Stapleton tickets. We'll tell you how to win here on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
On our iHeart Radio Music Festival is back. Live performances by the Goo Goo Dolls, Kenny Chesney, Lainey Wilson, Snoop Dogg, Weezer, and more. September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. The Capital One presale means cardholders have first access to tickets right now, but only for a limited time. Add an access pass for an exclusive pre-concert event with Weezer, 48 hours while they last. Get yours at iHeartRadio.com/Capital One. The general public on sale starts tomorrow morning at 11 a.m.
All right. Love that. By the way, let's make this simple to win a concert here in San Diego. Chris Stapleton, the sold out show.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us why you want to go. That's all you got to do for a chance to win these tickets. We'll announce a winner this hour. Why do you want to see Chris Stapleton's sold out show, July 11th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater in Chula Vista? Tell us on the iHeartRadio app. Open up the app on your phone, search for San Diego Sports 760, click the talkback mic, and tell us why you want to see Chris Stapleton. We'll announce a winner coming up before 6 p.m. All right. I want to get back to Manny Machado. I also want to try to make this crumpled up piece of paper in the trash can.
Your elbow. I don't like where your elbow is. They actually had arc.
It was wide right.
Yeah, but that one was.
It was wide right.
Arc. What do you think I'm making this or not?
No, because you're like 0 for your last 30. No chance.
Take that.
Oh, the pressure got to you, dude. Imagine being in the finals.
That's De'Aaron Fox right there.
Or the World Cup, right? And that was just pressure from me.
You were Josh Hart.
Yeah, basically. Did I win, though?
You did win. Can you imagine?
He went from
do you remember, did you ever see that, what's the 30 for 30? It was a 30 for 30 on the Knicks losing.
To the Pacers?
And Patrick Ewing, that game 7 where he's in between and tries kind of laying it up. It just hits the back of the rim and comes off. Josh Hart. Josh Hart had a moment there where,
dude, he said, thank you for, I would have had a lifetime of second guessing and misery if not for OG last night with those plays.
And without De'Aaron Fox and without Victor Wembanyama
and Taylor Swift.
And Swift.
And all of them.
Imagine where the Knicks would have been if she didn't show up yesterday.
They might not win, but they probably would have. All right. Remember earlier we said Kevin Acee spoke with Manny Machado.
Yeah.
Manny literally said, I suck. Like, I'm not paraphrasing. He said, I suck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, call it what it is, I suck to Kevin Acee. But listen to this. There's more in this reporting. What do you make of this? How do you reason with this? In the article, Kevin writes about Machado. However, he said this week that he did some work this offseason that set him off course. He was looking for ways to be better, to get more explosive. So he visited Richard Schenk, best known for his work with 3-time AL MVP Aaron Judge. He goes outside the organization.
Okay.
He works with a hitting expert to become more explosive. And according to the writing of Kevin and the reporting, that set him off course. Now, Manny wouldn't excuse it. He wasn't making an excuse. He just said this occurred. It set me off course. Interesting. 14-year veteran at the time, heading into year 15. Went to Aaron Judge's hitting, not his hitting coach, but a coach he works with on the side.
Okay.
And according to Manny Machado, that set him off course. Kind of interesting is what I would say.
Yeah, because we're all kind of analyzing everything Manny Machado does. And if he does something outside of the norm, you're going to quickly say, well, is it because of that? Well, if he, you know what I mean? Just like naturally, if you and I are doing a radio show for 2 years and everything is going fine, and all of a sudden I'm like, hey, I'm going to try something different. Okay. Right. Is it working? No. All right. Well, why'd you do that? Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like there's
definitely.
just naturally, you just look at things and say, well, why would he do that? I don't know what to make of it. I think some of the quotes, and for people that maybe weren't tuned into us a little bit earlier, but we were talking about his quote where he just kind of simplifies, I suck.
Yep.
He's like,
he said, just say I suck.
Just say I suck.
Don't give any other reasons.
You said this when we started the show, and I think there's 2 different ways you could look at Manny. And you've covered him. You've covered him every single day for a number of years. For me, this is a little bit new. I'm just, I'm a fan and obviously from San Diego, but now I'm covering it, trying to be as objective as I can, which is impossible. But I think there's a piece of a couple of months ago, if you'd have told me Manny admitting that he's not playing well, a month ago if you told me he's doing the same thing and he's got some post-game sound where he's like, hey, put this all on my shoulders. I think Manny's done a good job of taking accountability for how much he struggled. But I think you're also at a point, if you're a fan and you're like, all right, Manny, we've already heard that before. So why don't you just turn it around and figure it out? Because there's no, I can only sympathize so much. I can only sympathize with somebody telling me like, hey, I know this is on me. Yeah, you already know it's on you as well. We're just looking for solutions.
The part to me that is like, to your point, that's so surprising is he's always been a consistent hitter when it comes to really batting average. He's been a very consistent, tried and true hitter. He has 2,110 career hits. He doesn't struggle to reach base safely historically, right? Yet this year it hasn't been a struggle. It's been beyond that. He is still the lowest qualified hitter in the sport in batting average. So this goes beyond anything he has ever experienced. And I'm the first to say, hey, maybe he is getting older, or maybe there are some other factors at play. But getting older doesn't take you from a 280 career hitter to the 160s where he was a day ago.
Getting older means, all right, I'm hitting 15 home runs. I'm hitting 18 home runs.
I hit 160.
My home runs are coming down, but it doesn't mean I actually could be more effective at the plate of just slapping base hits. And, that's just, I'm a baseball player.
So it has to be terribly frustrating, I'm sure. There have to be multiple, like to his point, like just say I suck, because it's not one thing. It's not my age. It's not working with Aaron Judge's hitting instructor. It isn't. I'm just guessing. It's not Steven Souza. It's not Craig Stammen. It's not Fernando Tatis Jr. It's me. It's all these things. And it's added up to the worst start of my career.
Yeah, the problem is, like, we go back to the fundamentally for the Padres or their hitting coach or something like that. It's not that he's the only one struggling. You got this entire squad that's struggling.
That's a really good point.
The Manny piece as well. I think the last thing to just keep in mind, it was almost like with Tatis. The reason why Tatis, we couldn't get off of that conversation is because he hadn't hit a home run all year. The Machado, part of the reason why you can't get out of the conversation is he's got the worst batting average in all baseball. He's got the worst batting average
in the sport.
Like, think about two of the top storylines this year for the Padres. Tatis hadn't had a home run up until whatever date that was. Manny Machado has the worst batting average in baseball. Those are two of your top stories all season.
It's been a big one, no doubt about it. All right, on the other side, again, we're giving away the Chris Stapleton tickets. If you want to win them, tell us why on the iHeart app. Open up the app, search for 760, click the red talkback microphone. We'll announce the winner between now and 6 p.m. And a troubling allegation against a San Diego sports icon that we'll discuss on the other side. This is Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
The report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The Padres are in Baltimore getting set for their weekend series against the Orioles tomorrow. First pitch is going to be at 4:05. In NFL news, the Broncos and head coach Sean Payton agreed to a new 5-year deal. Payton, who is 62, had 2 years remaining on his current contract. This new 5-year deal will replace that. In World Cup scores, we had one final from today. Mexico defeated South Africa 2-0. You can hear Team USA's game right here on San Diego Sports 760 tomorrow night starting at 5:30. Taco Bell's Lux boxes. Choose the $5, $7, or $9 box now with a shredded beef dipping taco. Limited time at participating stores while supplies last. Prices vary. Freezes and specialty drinks not included. Tax extra.
All right, if you want Chris Stapleton tickets, a sold-out show here in San Diego, tell us why you want to go. It's July 11th. Open up the iHeart app, search for 760, click on the talkback mic. Just tell us why you want to go, and we'll give away those tickets between now and 6 p.m.
Hooking you up.
We really are. Tomorrow, join us in Little Italy. We'll be there all afternoon, broadcasting live, leading up to U.S., their first World Cup match on home soil in Inglewood against Paraguay. That's coming up tomorrow night at 6 p.m. We're broadcasting live from 3 to 5:30.
What do you think?
Do you want to play? Carpool to the Little Italy?
I don't know. Just
No.
what do you think?
You want to do that? You want to come here and then drive over there?
Make it simple. It's not a terrible idea.
No, it's actually a good one. No, because
How
they're
about
going
this?
home.
How about this?
Yada,
Going
yada.
home. How about this? I'll Uber back here. Just go straight. Because I'm closer
Why
to
would
here.
you do that?
Just make it easy.
You want to meet here and go over there?
Maybe I'm making it a little too complicated.
I don't know.
I just
They're
know
gonna
parking. I
reimburse
know
us.
parking. No, I'm not talking about.
But I'm saying
that
like
headache
other
of parking.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a headache. I'm saying otherwise, I agree.
Want
with
me
you,
to
but since
spot
they're
you
paying for
20?
us- No, but since they're paying for us, I'm going to park like this 200-hour valet line.
What's your bank account look like?
Yeah, no, we're fine. They're paying us back. Who cares?
I love that. That's the reason why I'm looking to carpool. I'm looking to carpool because it's going to be
simpler.
It's going to be
A
a lot of
zoo.
people out there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow.
Want me to
Getting
Venmo
out.
you?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting out and like experiencing it with like U.S. soccer fans.
No, it's going to be fun.
I'm looking
It's
forward
going
to
to be
that.
fun. And just imagine if USA lost that game.
Or if they won it. Do you know we're
Yeah, it's true.
introducing like the match to the viewers at the watch
To
party?
be honest with you, I don't know because I
And
haven't
there's
got
like
much
scripts
details.
and you got to have everything like locked down.
I haven't
You're
got
going
much
up there.
details.
You're
Yeah.
going to be in your Team USA jersey. I'm
Yep.
sure you've already purchased.
Yep.
and
You
all your
already told
gear
me
and-
you already told them.
Yeah.
You go shirtless like Tatis after a walk.
You're going to be waving around the jersey. Yeah.
You're going to be doing that.
Anyway, we'll be there tomorrow. Hopefully you'll join us tomorrow from Little Italy. This isn't something to really react to. It's just a news story involving Phil Mickelson. This is a report. And we see it at ESPN.com. Phil Mickelson kicked out of a club for inappropriate contact with a female employee. This, according to Golf Digest, reported earlier today. It occurred at the Farms
Out here.
in Rancho Santa Fe.
Mhm.
And apparently that happened earlier this spring, but he was literally kicked out or is no longer welcome at the Farms, according to the report in Golf Digest. I don't know what to say about it other than the fact that the report would be troubling and surprising. And it's on the front page right now
I
of
was just gonna say,
ESPN.com.
on the front page of
Yep.
ESPN, obviously happened in San Diego, so involving Phil Mickelson. So leave it at that, but
Yeah.
obviously a story that's out there.
And I will say this, the San Diego County Sheriff's Office said it investigated the allegation, but found no evidence that an assault had occurred. So anyway, reporting on that at ESPN.com. All right, so we mentioned the fact that the Padres are going to be in Baltimore tomorrow, taking on the Orioles, beginning this 9-game road trip. You and I agreed. We're taking 5 and 4.
Oh, yeah.
It's an interesting trip because you're not playing any dominant team. Is that fair to say? St. Louis has been good, but Baltimore hasn't. They've disappointed. Texas hasn't. The Rangers, they're under 500. So I guess my point is, I think it's fair to ask for 5 and 4. You know, like that to me isn't a reach considering the teams they're playing, although they haven't played well.
Yeah, it might be a reach for just because there's no team that they're about to face where they're not saying, hey, the Padres have been struggling. Hey, if they're a chance to win 2 or 3, this would be the time to take 2 or 3 from the Padres. So
true.
I think that I get your premise of, hey, it's not crazy to ask for 5-4.
Right.
I just watched them get swept by the Phillies.
Yeah,
I saw
you're
them
right.
go 1-5 over 6 games. They lose 2 or 3 to the Nationals. Maybe fortunate to get 2 or 3 from Cincinnati. So I don't think there's anything guaranteed with the Padres. And there may come a time like there was earlier in the season where your confidence level is different, but
True.
beating Cincinnati didn't change anything. And honestly, the competition for me doesn't change. Well, hey, they should have more of a chance to win because the competition is not as good. They lost 2 or 3 of the Mets, and the Mets are not exactly a team anybody's.
You make a good point because it's really more about, it's like keeping your own house in order. Like I'm worried more about the Padres. Of course, their opponents are going to matter too when you're playing teams like LA.
I know
or
where you're
Atlanta.
going with this. Yeah.
But it's like the team itself, we've been so critical of the way some of this has played out recently. Some of the base running miscues, the offensive ineffectiveness, their lack of clutch hitting, and there's more in there over these 16
runners
games.
in scoring position.
Yeah, there's so that to me is more like it's more indicative it's more about the Padres than it is the Reds. They didn't go 3 for 20 because they were facing the Reds. It felt like they went 3 for 20 with runners in scoring position because they have no identity.
Chances in 3 straight innings to end the game, weren't able to not end the game, but take a lead at a critical stage. Yeah.
So that's the part to me that is most concerned. But every single time, correct me if you disagree, every single time over the last 3 years, there's like a moment to kind of write off the Padres. Mike Schill, for example, I think had 4 or 5 5-game losing streaks in his 2 years. I think there was one year they had 4 5-game losing streaks, and that's when things get like dicey. But every single time they get to that point, they turn it around, so to speak. They did in 2024. They did in 2025. I don't know if they will in 2026. I did watch it with my own 2 eyes the last 2 years. So I'm expecting it. I don't know if that's unreasonable or not.
Here's the difference. Let's try to comp this year. 2024 and 2025, why those years could have been different. First off, you did have a manager that was having a tremendous amount of success and had 2 90+ wins with the San Diego Padres. That's never been done in franchise history. So there's one thing that I can't apply to 2026.
Sure.
I think the team was they were better before. 2024 and 2025, I could sit here and I could make the case that just that team, their makeup, their foundation, it felt more like a team that I could depend on turning it around. I don't know about this squad. I really don't. They just got so many players that are struggling. They got so many players that offensively have been awful, and you got a lot of your main players that have been bad as well. I got to see how Craig Stammen's going to respond. I got to see how the players respond under Stammen. So I don't think what they've done in 2024 and 2025 should be applied to this year. I do think this is an outlier of a season.
Do you think there'll be a moment this year that we see a different Manny Machado? Not for a game. Of course there will be. He'll have a great game. He's had important game. But is there going to be a moment where we'll look back and be like, remember the first half? And then look what he did from this date on. Is that coming or not?
I want you to add some context. Remember how we were talking about a couple of days ago how we've lowered the bar for some of these players?
Yeah.
So,
like how good
right now the bar is, if you told me he started hitting 225, 240, 250, mid 250 is probably the right number. Let's say 250
from here on out.
Then I would say, wow, this is much different than he was doing in the past, but I lowered the bar for him.
Yeah. Would I take that? If someone told me right now, the remainder of the year, he hits 250 on the nose, homers 15 times because he's hit 11 home runs. So that's very reasonable. And drives in
15. What do you mean 15 home runs?
15 more home runs.
15 more. Yeah.
I think it's reasonable because he's hit 11. Maybe it's high, but 15 home runs and 50 RBIs.
Say he ends up with 25 home runs.
Yeah. 26 home runs. And now
you would take 250 in those numbers in a heartbeat.
But would he be hitting 250 for the year or 250 from here on out?
250 from here on out.
Exactly.
Because 250 for the year ain't happening.
No, because that's hitting 300 from here on out.
That ain't happening.
And I wonder if he did hit 250 from here on out, what is he actually hitting for the year? Because you're 60-something games in at 172. So 90-something games at 215, 210, 215.
Yeah.
I mean, is that a best case scenario? Is that a best case scenario for Manny Machado?
And what did I just say? What did I just say? I just said that if it's 250, you would take it. I would take 250 the rest of the year.
Good, but when you tell me he's hitting 214.
But I can't pay attention to what he's already done because we like you said, based on the question that you had, you said that would you take this the rest of the way? And I think I would take 250 the rest of the way.
It's hard not to.
How many home runs would you take for Tatis the rest of the way?
Ooh, I love that. I think we're seeing a confident, better player right now that I'm hoping the power is coming.
Would you take 15 home runs
for the year? The total numbers, yeah. I think that's a good 90 games.
Talk about lowering the bar.
But like you said, 70 games are in the books.
You're not wrong. I'm just saying, like, think about what we're saying.
Yeah.
We're saying we'll take Tatis 15 home runs.
And Machado,
we'll take Manny
250.
Machado.
I agree.
We're not even saying we'll take Manny Machado 250. We're
Just
saying
from
we'll
here
take
on out.
Manny Machado probably 220 or 215 because he's got to bat 250 the rest of the way.
All right, let's give away Chris Stapleton tickets on the other side. Tell us why you want to win those tickets for a sold-out show July 11th in San Diego, and you are eligible to win. You just have to open the TalkBack mic on the iHeartRadio app and search for San Diego Sports 760. Tell us why you want those Chris Stapleton tickets, and we'll give them away on the other side. Plus, further reaction to what played out last night at MSG as those two teams, the Knicks and the Spurs,
I got a path. We're gonna
get ready for Game 5.
We're gonna try to build how Spurs are still in the series. Let's you and I kind of figure that out.
If they can outscore the Knicks tomorrow. Stay with us. We'll give away those tickets and break down Game 5 coming up next on Schaefer and Sliwa. All right, hey guys, it is Schaefer again for my friends at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. You got to get out to the Players Block Party that's going on this Saturday. Kick off summer in style at their annual Players Block Party. You're enjoying $20 free play for all from 6 a.m. to midnight, plus free food from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the marketplace. Then keep the celebration going at sunset, at the Sunset Pool Party at Starlight Pool starting at 6 p.m. Don't miss this all-day summer kickoff event. Learn more at hamulcasino.com. We've been telling you about all their great dining options. Of course, the hotel and spa at Hamul now open, where you can experience elevated luxury with their refined hotel stay, the rooftop relaxation, the indulgent spa treatments, and more. And in addition, they've got World Cup watch parties at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub. Catch every match on the big screen at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub during their World Cup watch parties. You can enjoy game day specials, great food, cold drinks, and an electric atmosphere for every match. Grab your crew and experience all the action with Hamul at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
All right, San Diego Sports 760 wants you to see Five Finger Death Punch and Cody Jinks live, and you pick the city. We'll handle everything, including the gold merch VIP package. Just tap the contest tab when you listen to us on the free iHeartRadio app to enter. Get tickets at livenation.com.
I do want to thank our studio sponsor, ESET, by the way, this afternoon. ESET, based here in San Diego. If you are a small business owner or running IT here in San Diego, you've got to protect your own operations with our friends at ESET, studio sponsor here at San Diego Sports 760.
Yeah, this is such a great partnership that we have with them. Obviously, to have a studio sponsor, you see it here in the background on our YouTube stream. It's kind of part of our. We've entrenched the two logos together. So shout out to ESET again, right here in San Diego for North America. They're headquartered right here in SD, and I know, John, you and I care a lot about this, as do our listeners. Any local support is the best thing that you can have. So shout out to ESET for being a part of it.
Check them out, by the way. ESET.com to protect what matters most. ESET.com. ESET keeps you safe and sound. We do have Chris Stapleton tickets we need to give away. Why don't we just do that right now? Can we get a drum roll? Sold out concert here in San Diego, July 11th, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. And our winner this afternoon, using the talkback mic, is Jared from San Diego.
Hi, Jared.
Congrats. You're going to see Chris Stapleton coming up July 11th.
There you go.
In Chula Vista. All right. What is the path for the Spurs? They're a 5.5-point favorite, Alan, in game 5. Despite last night, they're a sizable favorite, a 5.5-point favorite tomorrow in game 5.
I think you find out a lot about a team when they go through what they went through yesterday.
Sure.
The only problem with they should have learned from some of their other mistakes. They should have learned after game 2. They should have learned after game 1. Like they've had literally double-digit leads in all of them. There's no justifying a 29-point loss. Here's the only thing that I will say. If you could just win tomorrow and send this thing back to New York, you've had a tremendous amount of success in New York.
True.
You've already won 2 road games against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Right.
You've had plenty of success through the postseason playing on the road. Let's just put it this way. Let me kind of set something up for you.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks are not a franchise that are known for they come through in the clutch, this and that. That's not. There are other franchises. By the way, you know one of those franchises are? San Antonio.
Spurs.
The Spurs have a little bit of that. If you could just win on Saturday night in San Antonio, you at least give the New York Knicks and their fans
some doubt.
Not even just, there is just so much pressure of like, we got to finish this tonight. If the Knicks are going to win their first championship since 1973, if they're going to, obviously if they're going to do it, the chances of them doing it from home, but there's going to be pressure on the Knicks. That place is going to be a nervous spot because they know if they win, it's the greatest night in Knicks basketball history, or it could be one of the worst. All Spurs got to do is let's just survive one more day and see what happens.
I do. Here's a question I have for you.
You think they lose tomorrow or they lose?
I think the Spurs will
Saturday. It's Saturday.
I'll go
because it could very easily be a wrap.
It could very easily be a wrap. I'll take the Spurs somehow, although I'll be very impressed if they can somehow put game 4 behind them. How do you possibly do that? Here's my question.
They
fundamentally,
put game 2 behind them.
True, but that wasn't this bad. They rallied with the 14-0 run, took a lead only to give it away.
They gave away. They gave it away.
But this is historic. That was bad. This is historically bad.
Let me continue on that point. That game also was the difference of tied 1-1 and down 0-2.
And this was 2-2 or 3-1.
As in both losses were really bad. This one was historic.
But here's my question. If you're Mitch Johnson, head coach of the Spurs,
what do you say?
I mean, are you turning away from De'Aaron Fox? And I mean, Dylan Harper wasn't playing a ton down the stretch. Dylan Harper got no field goal attempts. None. I mean, I don't think in the fourth quarter, I don't know if he shot the ball. Like, are you changing strategically what you're going to do in closeout situations? They've had leads late in every game. They've been in every single game. Does anything change for them?
They got to be smarter. Yes, you do change.
Yeah. I mean,
but they just got to be smarter. They're taking 3 points. They're shooting threes with 12 seconds left on the shot clock. They took 8 threes in a row. Why are you playing Wemby 44 minutes in a game where you have a 20-something point lead?
Yeah.
Like, why aren't you giving him these pockets to rest so he's fresh for the end?
Dude,
they got to be smarter.
They're point guards, man. Like when Castle was running point with Fox out, all people talked about were the turnovers with Castle. Yeah. When Fox has the ball in his hands, it just feels herky-jerky, and he made some terrible decisions in the second half.
Can I give a cop-out to Fox for a quick second?
Sure.
He ain't healthy. Like, you could tell the dude's not healthy.
Well, then they have to, that's got to be a part of the conversation as well, then.
I don't disagree with you on that.
I mean, didn't they? Maybe their kryptonite against OKC was they didn't play De'Aaron Fox in a couple games they won. Isn't that correct? Didn't they win game 1 in Oklahoma City without De'Aaron Fox?
Yeah,
now,
they did.
Castle turns it over 12 times.
They had a game 2 where maybe it was game 3 where Harper and De'Aaron Fox came back. It was in San Antonio, and they lost that game.
Yeah. I remember that. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I could see it getting stretched out to a 6th game. They got to be a 5.5 point favorite for a reason.
Yeah.
I want to see it. Give me a 6th game, because then you have amazing storylines getting back to MSG.
Can we go back to what happened? These Knicks fans, these idiots.
Oh yeah, you're throwing eggs and
what are we doing?
Victor Wembanyama on his way back into the hotel in New York City. That's just too far. Just stop. We get it. You're excited. That's great. You should be. But don't throw eggs. Don't throw things at the players.
But how stupid do Knicks fans look? I mean, they had this same issue after game 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they're
it's every game.
Basically,
dude, if they win in 6 in New York
City.
City.
Beating up.
If they win in 6 in New York City's going to have some problems.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if they win in 5.
But if you're going to have problems and you're tearing down your own city, that's one thing. If you're like targeting Spurs fans or wanting to throw eggs at Victor Wembanyama, you're an idiot.
That's not right. I mean, it's just, and by the way, the NBA, you got to do a better job. Victor Wembanyama should not just be on a public street in New York City.
I know.
Within 15 feet of people that could throw an egg at him. How about enter the hotel in a garage, for example, not on the street in Manhattan? Back from Little Italy tomorrow at 3 p.m. Getting you ready for USA and Paraguay.
So I guess we got to stay at my place tonight. Then we could carpool tomorrow.
We'll stay at your place tomorrow night. Are you getting in tonight?
Well, we're figuring it out.
We'll figure that out.
Figuring it out.
Tomorrow, join us, Little Italy watch party for Team USA. We're on the air broadcasting live from 12 to 5:30. All right. If you missed anything today, check out sportsSD.com or the iHeartRadio app. And for Brent and Alan, I'm John. This has been Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Peace.